Can't do it. We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. F it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Welcome in, everybody. We are indeed doing it live here with RJ Bailey in the house. Welcome back.
Hello,
man.
lovely to be back.
We're so excited to have a little chat here and just hang out and kind of kick back and enjoy our Easter Sunday. Happy Easter, everybody! Of course, the holiday where we all celebrate Easter Island with the big heads in the sand, right? That's what Easter is.
I think so.
It's also kind of funny that Easter lands on 420 this year. I'm like, oh, that's an interesting combination of things.
I didn't even realize that today was that date. That's hilarious.
So yeah, I wanted to do a little live stream because our content has been a bit on the lacking side recently. I uploaded a video a few days ago, and it was basically just me sitting in front of a camera saying, the only things that I've uploaded the past few weeks have been the Yellow Jackets episode because they're so time sensitive. What's up, Nova? Welcome in. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Happy
Easter.
Yeah, I've just been uploading the Yellow Jackets one because they're so time sensitive. Like there's like a very short window of the YouTube algorithm where they're gonna do well. So I've been focusing on those, but otherwise, life has been kind of crazy, and I kind of go through it in that video and tell all of you guys, kind of what's been going on with me, and why I haven't had a whole lot of time to upload anything, or really to edit. Like recording is the easy part. I can sit down for a couple hours a week and record something, but editing is the part that takes up a large part of my life. But RJ, you were kind of curious as to what all this meant earlier when we were talking about it backstage. And basically, what I say in the video is that really in the past 2 months, I found out my dog has cancer, and he actually just went in.
Man, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's been tough. And he went in for a surgery on Thursday. That's actually why this like playpen is back here, is because he's back there contained to that area. Because I can't have him like jumping on the bed or anything.
Sure.
So I made him a little comfy area back there. It's got all of his favorite things in it. And there was a lady on Facebook, of all places, that was kind enough to just give me her playpen. It goes all the way from that corner that you can see there, all the way around. It hooks into the bookshelf right here. So it's a big area for him that also keeps him contained, which is really nice.
Yep.
But yeah, he had his surgery. It all went pretty well, like as well as it could have.
Good.
The first day really freaked me out because the last time that I had a dog that went through surgery, I must have been 14, 13 or 14. And we had a dog that got hit by a van.
Ooh.
And it messed up his back leg. He recovered really well, surprisingly. Nothing else was really hurt. But for a while, it was really scary. And so I have all of this like trauma from that time of like I literally, like I was walking my dog at the time, and he got off the leash and got hit by this van. And so I had to like carry him home. And then we had to like just race off to the emergency room, and it was like traumatizing for me. And so when Hank went in for his surgery, it was like, I don't know, it kind of brought up a lot of that, brought it up again. And I was really, really scared that first day. I was like, I just don't know like how to handle this or what to do. And then it turned out I took the next day off of work at Gabe's request. I was like, yeah, you're right. I was like, I gotta take the day off. And so I went and got him because he had a cone on, right? And the cone was like freaking him out. Like anytime he would move, it would like the cone would like hit the ground, and it would like stop him, and he couldn't understand why he wasn't able to move in certain directions. And so one of my buddies had suggested the donut, which is like this thing, kind of like what you wear on an airplane, like a little pillow that you would put around your neck. It's kind of like that. And so I went and got him one of those. I came home and took the cone off and just kind of watched him for a bit. And he was like so much better. Like he was practically his old self again. And it's made a world of a difference. And so I took the cone off and I started just kind of like watching him. And he didn't really like pick at his like sutures or anything like that. He hasn't really tried licking them or scratching them or anything. And so I'm like, man, he doesn't even really need the cone. So when I'm here at the house with him and can see him, I keep the cone and everything off. And then, if I have to go to work or go do something, I'll put the donut on him. And he likes the donut a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
So.
Well, you're a good dog dad. So I'm not surprised that you made it.
He is a good dog dad.
For
That's for sure.
Yeah. So he's doing better. He's gonna recover okay, I think. He's hopefully they said that he can get his stitches out in 27 days. So about 24 days from now.
Bless.
And yeah. So not only did I find out that my dog has cancer, but then a week or so after that, my roommate decided to leave ahead of his lease, leaving me with the entire house to pay for all on my own. And then I hadn't, and then I haven't been able to find a roommate. So I was telling you backstage, I'm like, I'm probably gonna move soon because I can't like afford this place all on my own. So that happened, and then the company that I was working for was like, it's like going under.
Right.
And so
Okay.
they laid off like half of their employees, and I was one of them. So I got laid off, and and then right after I was laid off, I had like a big like dental surgery, and during the surgery, or during like, because I was all loopy from all these drugs, like I was out, and
Yeah.
I bit through my lip because I couldn't feel it. And so I had like a week and a half of recovering from this lip that was completely sliced all the
Jeez.
way across. And so that happened, and I start like looking for work and stuff, right? And I start like finding a couple
Hmm.
things that seem like they're gonna work out, and then my truck blows up. And so, and like the water pump on my truck just completely goes
Jesus
out,
Christ.
and I have somebody like look into it, and
Oh my word.
they're like, it's way more than the water pump. It's like all these other things. They're like, you're looking at like $4,000 to like fix this to where it needs to be. And I'm just like, oh my God, okay. And so now, so my buddy's letting me drive his car so I can get to work now. Because I did find a job for at least the meantime. It's not like a forever job, but it's something I
Good.
can do for a while.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
and yeah, so I'm driving my buddy's car, but he needs it back the first week of May. So I have to find a car in 11 days.
Good God. That
Yeah.
is insane. I don't know how
Yeah.
Yeah.
how you're dealing with this.
I know. I don't know either. It's just been like one thing after another.
Yeah.
Um, and I was trying to keep up on like editing content for a long time. But then I
Mhm.
was just like, I gotta take a break. I'm like,
Yeah.
if there's like a really short episode that we do or something, I'll have time to edit that. But
Yeah.
otherwise I gotta take a little bit of a break from editing. And so I made this whole video where I explained this to like everybody. And I was like, yeah, there's going to be less content, in the near future, but we'll be back. We'll be back soon, I
Yeah.
promise. And so this live stream is kind of just a way of like giving people some like immediate content that they can watch without me having to edit it.
God,
So
that's mental, my friend. I'm
Yeah,
so
it
sorry
is
that
yeah,
you've
mental.
been through that.
it's pretty wild. So yeah, hopefully this scratches the Fantasy Files itch for everybody, and you guys can kind of enjoy us like hanging out and just having a good time. There
Yeah.
was there was a story that I wanted to share with you guys. I think it was when RJ dropped out of the call for a minute, and I was about to tell the story to Gabe, but I
Yeah.
was like,
And
oh
then he
wait, I
didn't
gotta.
take it
I
away
was like,
from me.
I was like, I gotta wait till RJ's back. Then when you got on, I was like, oh, maybe I'll just tell it on the live stream. So, I have two trucks that I'm trying to sell. I have a Chevy Silverado from like a few years
Hmm.
ago, that the fuel pump went out on, and then I have the
Mm.
Dodge that I've been driving that the water pump went out on. So I'm trying to offload these things and get a little bit of extra cash. And this lady reached out to me like maybe 5 days ago or something, and she's like, will you take, because I put it up for 1,000, and I
Mm.
got tons of messages, like tons and tons of messages about it, and nobody had really like finalized anything. Like nobody had really come through to be like, I'm coming to pick it up now or anything. And this one
Mhm.
lady was like, she's like, if you'll take 800, I'll come pick it up right now. And I was like, okay.
Mm.
And so she actually didn't end up coming that night. But I think she came, yeah, it was the next day that she came out. And she hadn't really asked me too many questions about the truck or anything. It kind of seemed like most people were interested in it for like either the transmission or the engine, because those are like basically brand new. Um,
Yeah.
and so this this lady comes out, and she brings her boyfriend, and she brings like maybe her uncle or something, and they all look kind of sketchy. Like they just kind of look like sketchy
no.
people in general. And they're like, "Oh, can we like look at the car?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And so I, pop the hood, let them look around, whatever they want to do, and all this stuff. And they're asking like all these questions, and I'm like, honestly, I'm like, the thing that's wrong with it is the fuel pump. I've had that confirmed by a mechanic, and like, it's got its share of problems. Like there's body damage and stuff like that, but overall, it's like a really good truck if you can just get a fuel pump in it. Like I would still be driving the truck if I had a fuel pump to put in it. And so, yeah, they were like asking all these questions, and I'm like, look, most people are looking at this thing for the parts inside, but also if you just want to repair the fuel pump, like you'll be fine. And so they kept needling all these questions, and I'm like, look, do you guys want it or not? And she was like, well,
yeah.
She's like, would you take 500 for it? And I'm like, no. I'm like, no way. I'm like, it's priced at 1,000 because it's like, it's a good truck and you just need a fuel pump to put in it. And I have a bunch of other people offering me full price to come get it. And they're like, yeah, well, those people aren't here right now. And I'm like, that's fine. I'm like, they can come tomorrow. Like, I'm like, I'm not really worried about getting 500 today versus like 1,000 tomorrow. And so they kept going. They're like, what about 550? I'm like, adding $50 onto your price is not like, I don't care about $50. And so then she's like, would you take 700? And I was like, I don't know. And then the uncle or whatever was like, I'll throw in 100 so you can get to 800. He's like, let's just do the 800. And she's like, okay. And they had kind of been going back and forth on it, like, do I want it? Do I not? And then she like, and it's all part of like people being schemy, right? But they like started up the car or the truck. They had like this big like battery charger that they put on it. And they started up the truck, and of course, it went like it wants to start, but the fuel pump isn't letting the fuel through.
Or that.
Yeah.
And she like acts all surprised. She's like, well, it's not like running or anything.
You're like, no, it doesn't run. It needs a fuel pump.
Yeah, it needs a fuel pump. That's what I told you.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, you should take 500 because I'm going to have to put more money into it to get this running. And I'm like, yeah, that's why it's priced at 1,000 is because if it was running, it'd be worth like $4,000. So I'm like, I'm pricing it to sell already. Like that's the point. And so she was like, yeah, but it's just like, she's like, it's not like I can drive it out of here or anything. Like, it should be cheaper. And that's when I was like, do you want it or not? And then the uncle was like, I'll give you 100, whatever. So they had brought a truck with a trailer on it. And they were like, all right, well, we're going to pull the trailer around. They're like, do you have the title and everything? I was like, yep, it's inside. I'll go get the title. And he's like, okay. He's like, I'll pull the trailer back here. And he's like, you may need to help us like push it onto the trailer or whatever. I was like, okay, yeah, we'll figure it out. So they all go around the corner to go get this trailer. I go inside to get the title, and I come back out, and they've fucking booked it. Like, they've just, like, dipped. And I was like, what? And I was worried because she had the keys because she was the one, like, starting the truck up and stuff. And I was like, oh my God, like I'm like, maybe they're just pulling the trailer around. So I wait for like 5 minutes outside with the title in my hand. Luckily I hadn't started filling it out because I was like in the house about to like start filling stuff out. And luckily I went out of there and saw that they had left. But yeah, like they were completely gone. And I was like, well, I'm going to have to call the police. Like she just left with my keys. And I go and look inside the truck, and she had set the keys on the seat. So
right.
I was like, okay, so they didn't like steal anything. It's just kind of a weird
Did you
situation.
check for other stuff stolen? Like, did they take the battery out of it?
Very
or
weird.
stuff
No,
like that?
Yeah, I looked at everything else. Yeah, there definitely
That's
wasn't
weird,
anything
man.
taken.
That's like a really weird situation.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was like, what the heck? And so I tried messaging her on like the Facebook
She
Messenger
probably blocked
thing,
you on everything, huh?
and she blocked me.
Yep.
And I was like, man, you could have just said, hey, actually, I think I'm gonna wait on this.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Yeah.
fine. I'd be like, oh, okay, like that's reasonable or whatever.
What a freak.
Yeah, I'm just like, what the heck? So then yesterday, I get this message from this guy, and
Mhm.
he's like, hey, he's like, can you send me pictures of like the interior? And I was like, sure. And so I sent him pictures of the interior. And then he's like, would you take 400 for it? And I was like, what the heck?
Instead of
No. And I went and looked at his profile, and it was the boyfriend of the girl. He had come, he was the guy that was out here. And so I messaged him back, and I was like, well, like I said to you guys yesterday, the lowest I'd go is $800. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, you were out here yesterday. Like, I'm not like blind. Like, I can see your profile. And he's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. He's like, I've been in the hospital with my mom the past 3 days. And I'm like,
Sure.
I don't know why you're doing this. I'm like, you like
what a waste of energy.
Like the girl, the girl that came to look at the truck with you guys yesterday is in your profile picture. She's in 3 of your profile pictures. Like, you're definitely the same person. And so I'm just like, what is going on? And then like he stopped responding. And I even told him, I was like, you guys didn't have to like bail and block me. Like, you could have just said like, I'm not interested. Like, I wouldn't have like held it against you or anything.
Yeah.
And so then I'm just like, then why message me again and be like, will you take 400?
Well,
Because
it was
then
probably part of like a scheme that they had thought up, you know,
right.
Like something that they had planned terribly that obviously is not going to work anywhere at any time, but they thought it might.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't know. That's weird. It sounds sketchy. Sounds like they were definitely trying to do something, but
Yeah.
failed miserably.
Yeah. It's such
a weirdo.
Such a weird situation. I felt like, and I had to leave too. I had to like go. Because I've been doing like side jobs and stuff like after work. And so I was like, should I leave or like should I stay here? Like, I feel weird about leaving the house now after this weird thing just happened. And I think that people, you know, when somebody does something like that, they never really think about the effect they might be leaving on someone else, because even though like I wasn't like, you know, I don't know what their plan was, but I wasn't like held at gunpoint or anything. But when something sketchy like that happens, it makes me be like, am I about to get robbed? Like, should I should I not leave the house? Like, what is going on? And so I ended up like locking all the doors, and I went to the neighbor and I was like, hey, I'm like, this weird thing just happened. If you see anybody like weird around here, like they were not invited by me, so just like let me know. And I think that's like the best, you know, the best you can do in that situation.
That was a smart move. That's exactly what I would have done. Especially because your neighbors are like so close, you know?
Yeah, right. Yeah. We're like right on top of each other.
Yep.
So yeah, it was
that right now.
Yeah, it was it was odd for sure. It was very, very bizarre. And I was just like, what is going on with all of this? But
good God, you're not having it easy. I apologize on behalf of life.
I know, right? I'm like, can I just catch just one fucking break? Just like one singular break? That would be awesome. So
that's mad. That's absolutely mad.
That's wicked.
It was pretty crazy.
So, any movement on the car so far? Like legitimate movement after that?
I mean, I have lots of people that say that they want to come buy it or come pick it up. I have one guy that's like pretty seriously interested that I've been going back and forth with. So hopefully somebody will buy it. But
you got to change the post to be like something like, listen, this I just want the truck to go.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're serious, come grab it. If not, quit bothering me.
Right. Yeah.
I'm sure 80% of those people are all like no matter what you post. Like, I sold a dirt bike a while back, and I posted it for a set price, and then immediately, not even 10 seconds later, I get 7 messages from random people saying, would you take half price?
Yeah.
And I'm like, does this work?
Yeah.
Do you actually ever get this to work?
Right. Yeah. I've had people offer me all these trades. They're like,
that's another one. Yeah. Trades.
Yeah. This guy's like, I got a boat that I'll trade you. And it's like, what shitty boat am I going to get for a broken down Silverado? You know what I mean? Like, I don't trust the boat. I had one guy try to give me a 2007 Tahoe for the Silverado. And I'm like, there's got to be something wrong with the Tahoe.
Probably in worse condition than the truck is. Yeah, for sure.
I had somebody try to give me a Subaru Forester, which I actually really wanted, but he was super honest about all of the things that were wrong with it. And I'm like, man, I would love this car, because it was like he had done Subaru work to it, it was lowered, it had rims, and it looked cool.
Did it have a blown head gasket?
Did it have what?
Blown head gasket?
I don't know. Oh, a blown head gasket.
Typical
Yeah.
Subaru thing,
right? Yeah, I don't think I had any problems with the gaskets. It was a bunch of it was a long list of little stuff. Yeah, there was certain things that were going to need to be repaired really soon on it.
Yeah.
But I was close. I was like, maybe. But yeah, I've had people offer me a rifle. They're like, would you trade for a rifle? Yeah. And I'm like, no. I'm like, I don't know enough about rifles to know what's worth a lot of money and what's not. And
yeah.
And
Also,
and I'm just like,
much use for a rifle?
What's that?
Do you have much use for a rifle?
No, I've never I know that Gabe's family is really into hunting and stuff, but I've never wanted a gun. I don't really have anything against owning guns or anything like that. I'm just more like I just don't need one. I've just never needed one.
I bet you what they would do too is they would just come and trade you the gun, right? Which is totally not legal. You can't.
Is it? Okay. No, see, I don't know anything about this.
Gotta be all everything's got to be documented. Otherwise, you're in possession of a illegal firearm, which is a felony here.
Right.
So that would have been really bad.
Good thing
would have been a bad luck.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had all sorts of weird trades. One guy had a go-kart, like a nice go-kart. Yeah. And I was like, I'm like, that'd be fun, but no.
I need something to actually get me somewhere.
Right. Nova says, I had tried selling my car for $600, and a person messaged me and said no one would pay that price, but I'll give you $100 for it. LOL. That's so funny. I've had people message me for because I've had this room for rent posted for a while, trying to find a roommate, and every now and then, and the rent is high, but it's not me making the decision. You know what I mean? It's not I'm not making up this rent price. It's the property management company. And so I have nothing to do with the pricing of the room at all. And I'll have people message me that are they're like, this is a joke. You're never going to find somebody to rent that room for that price. And you should lower the price. And I had one guy send me this long thing about, he's like, rent prices are actually going down right now. And it's absurd to it because the price is $900 a month per room.
Right.
And he's like, it's absurd to think that you will find somebody for $900 a month. He's like, you need to lower this price and all this stuff. And I'm like, I have nothing to do with this. Like, I have nothing to do with the pricing of this room. I'm just trying to find a roommate. Yeah, it's
why
funny.
would they bother like taking the time as well to
it's another just weird waste of energy.
email
like,
you? Like,
yeah,
if you're not interested, why are you bothering?
I know, it's like this guy just went out of his way to like troll me.
and going down since when? No kidding.
Yeah, for real, yeah. And that's the thing, is you just get these guys every now and then that have no idea what they're talking about, and they're like, I expect to pay $300 a month for a room, and it's like
40 years ago you could have done that. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, not now. So yeah, it's just super weird.
Yeah, it
But-
sounds it.
Yeah, but I'm thinking of moving here pretty soon. Because I have like one person that's like interested in the room, but I haven't. Nova says this isn't the 90s.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't found any like serious takers, so I'm like, I may just have to like move out of here. We'll see what happens. But I wanted to show you guys. I've been doing some side jobs, and I don't even know if I showed Gabe the final picture of this. Oh, why is my download and install it now, I guess. Okay. Oh, well, somehow I have to bring up these pictures. I'll figure it out. But I did this railing that turned out really nice.
Oh yeah, the banister thing.
Yeah. So let me see if I can. Okay, got that open. Okay, will it work now? There's always some plugin you need, right? Like there's always some like, oh, you don't have the right plugin. Okay, here it is. Let me go to the before image. Okay. So check this out. They had reached out and they had shown me this. So they have like their kitchen up here, and then there's like this drop, and then there's like this these like cubbies. Can you see this?
Yep.
And so yeah, this is what it was, and the people that had owned the house before had bolted these like cubbies to the ground and to this little like 2-foot wall here.
Yeah.
And so they wanted me to rip this out. And at first they wanted to do some like trendy, like cedar, like horizontal railing looking thing. And then they kind of changed their mind on that a few times. But when I finally went in to do this, I pulled this up and the flooring doesn't go underneath this.
Oh.
So the flooring was put in around this IKEA shelf. And it just so happened that they had one singular box of this flooring left that I was able to match and like fill in the rest with. But from this, I turned it into this.
Oh, lovely.
Wow.
Wow. You are an artist and a craftsman. That's amazing.
No kidding, man.
Like,
That's
legit,
wild.
I'm stunned. That's amazing.
Didn't that turn out so nice?
It's really
That's
good.
beautiful.
The stain is
Shame you don't
perfect.
live near me, and then you could come and do whatever house I move into next.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
for sure. Yeah. I did this for them, and they told me, I did this, and they were so like shocked by it that they were like, we want you to do the rest of our house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And so I
sorry, as someone who relies on getting clients and self-employment and stuff,
Yep.
that's
Yep.
what you want to hear.
That's excellent.
isn't that the
Yeah.
best? Yeah, they're like, we want you to do
Yeah.
everything. And so they have this plan for let me see if I can find a picture that kind of has it in it. So you see back here, this room to the right.
Yep.
Yes.
That's like their living room, and that the ceiling goes up there, and it's like a full peak, like you get the entire shape.
Yeah.
And so so I'm gonna put a fireplace in the middle of it, and then a bench on either side that's like built into the fireplace, where the seat of the bench like lifts up for like a
Yep.
toy box.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
And then above it and like all around it, like filling in the entire rest of the space, is going to be
Yeah.
this really cool kind of like randomized shelving. It's going to be like random shapes, like it's all going to be very like
Yep. Abstract.
staggered
kind of,
and
yeah.
abstract and random. And that's going to look really cool.
So
But-
you're
awesome,
basically designing their house.
yeah. Yeah.
Like, is this something you could pursue? Do you think, like, as a, because obviously you do carpentry and stuff, but like, could you
Yeah.
legitimately move into house design?
Oh yeah, I mean, like that's
Like,
pretty much what I
your
did.
brand?
Yeah, that's pretty much what I did for years when I owned my own company.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And I would do this kind of stuff and work with clients and stuff to kind of design their house and figure out how they want it to look and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely something that is it's certainly like a career for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, the hard part about owning your own business is doing all of the like businessy stuff, like all of the like accounting and all that kind of stuff, as I'm sure you know, RJ.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, when I owned my own company, I just didn't really want to have to deal with that anymore. I'm like, I'd rather just work for somebody else. But
Yeah.
I'm getting to the point where I'm like, maybe I just start up a company again, because these guys went from just having me do this project to wanting me to do the rest of their house, and then telling their neighbors about me, and then giving me a shout out on Facebook. And so I think I have a lot of other work coming from this like
That's
neighborhood.
awesome.
Yeah.
I'm very pleased.
So if that picks up a lot, then I might have to just like open up a license to do it myself again. But
You were telling me though, this is quite a long time ago, but you were telling me, don't you in America, don't you have to go to Washington or some shit, or somewhere like to register as self-employed, like to register that's to become self-employed, which just blows my mind. It seems like so, because here you just go on a website and say I'm self-employed now.
really, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
What? You have to go to what? The Capitol?
Yeah, it's done through the Capitol, and especially if you're like any business you have to like register the business,
Yeah.
and you have to like be like licensed for it basically, and you have to have like certain insurance and all that kind of stuff.
For sure. I just didn't know that you had to go, like actually had to go down and do all that. I figured it would be the same kind of online thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know, when Sean and I did it, we went down there, and
it's probably
maybe
easier to go down in person, because then you can just get everything done at once. Versus
right.
trying to like, get insurance and then get your license, the LLC, and then trying to like, validate that or whatever.
Yeah, and I can't remember why we didn't do it online, or maybe we did have to go in there. I can't remember, but
Yeah.
you definitely have to jump through a lot of hoops to start a business.
It's all tax stuff. It's like literally it.
Yeah. But yeah, I know even if you have like a tea company or something, like you have to register that, and you have to be like licensed for it and have insurance and all that.
Yeah.
That's mad to me.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought I'd show off that railing. It turned out really nice, and especially after it got the clear coat on it.
Yeah, the
it just
stain
came
looks
out like
really
super
good.
glossy
Yeah.
and just looking real
Yeah.
nice, and yeah, it's super cool.
Very pretty.
So, let's see, what else is new? Is there anything new with you guys that you've been doing? Anything life has thrown at you guys?
No, I kind of wish there'd be something that's new. It's not. I feel like my life now is just repetitive at all times,
Yeah.
which is nice in a sense, but it's also quite boring.
Mhm.
You know, I don't really do a whole lot other than work, and that sucks.
Yeah. Well, you know, whenever I get into those parts of life where that's just happening, have you ever heard, oh, what is it called? It's by Nine Inch Nails, and it's like, every day is exactly the same.
I seem to remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just called
remember that.
Every Day is Exactly the Same by Nine
Yeah.
Inch Nails. And that song will pop into my head. I know Nova knows this song. She's got to know. She's got to know every day is exactly the same. But yeah, I've been doing this job where like literally we're doing like a big building and we're demoing each floor of the building, and each floor looks exactly the same. And so when I go to work, it's just like a month of doing literally
Exactly
the
the
same
same
thing
every day,
every
yeah.
day. And that Nine Inch Nails song plays in my head all the time, just like every day is exactly the same.
That's funny. I've never heard that, but that's exactly
Yeah.
how my job is.
I'll send it to you. You should listen
Literally
to
the
it.
same.
Yeah.
I do the same job in the same way every time. every
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Do you know what Tantor is, or who Tantor is?
Like Tantor Media
Yeah.
or audio? Yeah.
So I signed with them recently.
Holy shit.
quite
Oh,
recently,
wow.
in fact. Yeah.
That's
So,
awesome.
Thank you. And usually they just are like, you know, they're like, look, we want you to start off on a solo book, you know, not part of a series, because if you are shit, then we can
Right.
jettison
Then we're
you
stuck.
as
Yeah.
Yeah. But they got me. They were just like, you've been approved for a 5-part fantasy series. I
No
was
fucking
like,
way.
Wow.
oh, fucking hell.
Yeah.
So that was some real good news.
That's
Oh
awesome.
my god! Congrats.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super
Thank you.
cool.
Was this
So it's
the
very
thing?
nicely paid.
What was this the
Awesome.
thing that you
Thank God.
couldn't talk about last time?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know. When was last time?
The last time was with Tim Hardy, and we were like Hall of Bones had just come out in audio.
No.
And you were like,
I can't. Oh, okay. I don't know.
Can you talk about it now?
Yeah. But I can't remember what that thing is.
Fuck.
Because of the nature of what I work on,
Yeah.
a fair amount of stuff relies on, you know, they have release
NDAs
dates,
and-
they have marketing
yeah.
programs, and like
Yep.
they're like, it's not. I don't even sign NDAs, but it's like not cool. I think
Yeah, it's
professionally,
more of a
it's not
respect
cool.
thing.
And I don't
Yeah.
want. And I don't want to like steal the author or the publisher's thunder by announcing it before they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen the authors tease these ones, but I don't want. So it very much seems to me like they have a plan and they don't want
Right.
to give the game away right now.
Yep.
Right.
So I've not said anything, and I won't say anything until they
Yep.
say so. But
Good.
yes, excuse me, super chuffed
Yeah.
that I've got these, because I really needed it as well. Frankly, it's been a
That's so
tough
cool.
time in my personal life, as you both know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's amazing.
So you can't
the
tell
way
us
it
what the
went-
5-book series is, though, right?
No, I could probably
Okay.
tell you off
Sure.
off broadcast.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you just need to shut the fuck up and not
Yeah.
Fair. That's
Yeah.
fair.
Thank you, Nova. So yeah, the way it worked out was I saw this book series on Amazon. I was like, that looks cool. I'd like to read that. And then I was like, but I don't read books. I just listen to audiobooks. And then I was
Yeah.
like, there's no audiobooks of it.
Mhm.
So I was
Mm.
like, well, I want to read it. So I want to listen to the audiobook. So I could just make the audiobook. So I
Yeah.
got in touch with the author and I said, look, I really like your sample on your Kindle sample. And I noticed you don't have an audiobook. I make audiobooks. Here's, how about it? So I sent
Yeah.
him a little bit of like a sample of me reading his audiobook. And he said, I really like that. But Cantor has bought the rights to to that audiobook series. So I can't
Okay.
we can't make a
Oh,
deal.
Yeah.
Right.
So because I really like what you sounded like, and I would love. They're in the middle of me of sending me, or they're going to soon send me a list of narrators that they've picked that I am
Oh.
to select from.
Mm.
So, but
What a
I
way to
would
get
love
your foot in the door.
Yeah, I would love your name to be on that list. So I got in touch with Tantor, and I feel like I'm sure they receive a lot of
Yeah.
emails all the
Yeah.
time that are like narrator inquiry, can I narrate for you? But I was like, narrator inquiry or audiobook inquiry, in the subject line, along with this book series audiobook deal. And because I knew they were doing this, the fact that I was mentioning audiobook deal and they've done an audiobook deal on this, they knew it would probably and this was like information not in the public. It would probably catch their eye that I had brought up an audiobook deal that they'd done that they've not mentioned in public yet.
Right.
So
Yep.
that managed to catch their eye. And then what I did was I, sent them the sample and I said, look, this is what the author said. And the author said he really liked the stuff. And he also was complimentary about my reading of it. And he'd like to see my name on there. And luckily that basically got my foot in the door
Yeah.
and allowed me to like start having conversations about joining Tantor. So they like
Wow.
got me, they were like, right, okay, so we need you to do a sample of this as well, and like we need like a raw sample, which is like no mastering, no editing, just
Right.
just because our engineers sort out all the post-production, whereas the sample I'd done had was fully post-produced and stuff like that.
Right.
And then the lady at Tantor, the lady called Hillary, was like, okay, can you send me a sample of your reading from the audiobook? And so I had a dilemma, and I was like, shall I record a new piece of stuff, or shall I to show another part of the to show I can do, I'm not just good at that one little bit of audiobook.
Right.
But my other thing was like, or shall I submit the same piece, so then the author will know it's me, and I think that tells quite a nice story
Right.
that appeals to writers and creatives and people who are into story, people who like it tells a nice story of us chatting, me approaching him, saying it was good, and then him suggesting going to Tantor taking me on, then Tantor sending him the sample, and then him selecting me. It's a nice, like, full circle kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he also, he said he must have looked at some of my links as well in my email signature, because it was like he said he was like, oh, it's nice to see another heavy metal fan in the space as well. And so yeah, that was a nice little link we had as well. So, and we followed each other on social media, so there was a little bit of a relationship building up already there. So I was like, I
Right.
kind of want him to know it's me, and for him to know that I took his advice and I joined
Yep.
Tantor thanks to
Yeah.
him suggesting that I should do so, because that'd be nice. So yeah, I ended up sending him or them the same sample to send to him. This was and then they were like, "Hey, you've been approved for this series," and I was like, "Amazing!
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you so much." The twist is, then they sent me another. They sent me another email very quickly as I simultaneously replied, "Yes, thank you, I will take this on." I got an email from them saying, "No, my bad. No, you haven't. Sorry for the confusion." And then I was like, "What?" And then they were like, "Here's the twist. You've been approved for a different series." And I was like, "What is going on?"
Yeah.
The what? Here's what I didn't tell you. The series that I originally looked at was a different series by the same author, a trilogy, a 3-part series. And so
Oh.
then I got approved for a 5-part series by the same author, because the
Oh.
author was like, said, "I think RJ will be better at this other series, because this is like more of a," his words, "heavy metal fantasy series. It's a bit
Oh.
more
Awesome.
hardcore and stuff, and a bit more bad. I suppose
Wow.
maybe a little bit grim dark as well. So not only is it probably more my cup of tea in the end, but it's 2 more extra books. So that's a
Yeah.
little bit more.
Right.
I'd make my living at this, so it's also nice to be like, yeah, that's a bit more pay as well. Quite a
Yeah.
bit more pay.
That's so great.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
2 more. Instead of
And
having
it's
3 more titles to my name, it's 5 more titles. It's fantastic,
yeah.
really.
And
That's
especially
awesome.
like Tantor is a big company. I think they they did the original Night Angel trilogy was Tantor
Oh,
Media.
did they?
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
and I'm you would know more about how this actually works than I do, but I would imagine that doing this 5-book series for them, that also gets your foot in the door as part as like being on the list that they send to authors. Like, here's 3 options. You have RJ Bailey, Nick Podell, and like whoever else, and they send those out. I would imagine your name would be on those lists now that you've been confirmed for.
I very much hope so. The thing is, I was talking with a pal who owns an audiobook company that I work with a lot. But I'm not sure if she would want me to say this. It's nothing bad,
Mhm.
but it's maybe a bit insidery like stuff. But
Sure.
I don't want to. She's a really good friend of mine, so I don't want to
Yeah.
put her nose out of joint and say something that she might find or wish I hadn't. So I won't say her name. But she said, once you're kind of in with Tantor, like, you're in. Like, so she was like saying she's got a narrator friend, and he says they just send him loads of stuff, to the point where he joked that sometimes he's like, they won't leave me alone.
Oh, wow.
So
You're like,
and
yes,
like a lot,
that's what I'm looking for.
exactly. That's what I'm
Yeah.
looking for and indeed need.
Yeah.
About moving house, selling house, not cheap.
Yeah.
Yep. No kidding.
So I am very much hoping that, like I said, it's unusual for them to give someone just 5 books off the bat.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
And especially if you rock those 5 books and it
Well,
turns out incredible,
yeah.
which, yep, it will.
And you
Hopefully.
do have quite the portfolio too. Like by now you've accumulated so many like cool books that you've done. I imagine that they looked into that a bit.
Possibly. Like people my age have done a lot more than me, to be fair, or who've been doing it more as much as me, but I've done like adverts and corporate stuff as well, and all sorts of stuff. So
Sure.
I don't know. I would. That's nice of you to say that, and hopefully that is the case. But I kind of don't want to judge my own
Sure.
oeuvre. But yes, hopefully they looked into that and approved me on that basis, because that would spell good things about me.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's unusual for them to offer like, usually it's one book, but like they offered me 5, which is kind of mad. But I think definitely it's to do with that whole journey I went on, that whole story, that we all kind of went on in a way.
Yeah.
That little cycle of like, not just me going, hey, can I join your ranks, but like me having that relationship with the author, and then going to Tantor with it about a specific series, and knowing heavy metal, and like Nova just said, like heavy metal fans stick together. That's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
Are you a heavy metal fan, Nova?
Oh yeah, she totally is. Yeah.
Yeah. Good kind of person then. My kind of person. So yeah, my friend said once you're in there, then you're in there, and they'll just keep sending you stuff. So I feel like if I'd started off with one book, then it would be easy for me to be one book, and then I'd have to go, hey, remember me? I did that book. Can you give?
Right.
But hopefully, with 5 books, that should make me stick in their memory, and they'll send me. Hopefully, so that's my hope.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
fingers crossed.
Well,
But
yeah,
it's
that's
good
incredible. Yeah.
Well,
Thanks.
I'm so excited for you.
Yeah,
I've
that's so
thought
awesome,
for a
man.
long time. I'm like, it's gonna be like any month now that he
Yeah,
gets
this is
picked
what-
up by
yep, this is
a
what
audiobook
RJ
company.
needs.
Yeah.
He's got the voice. He could do it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
Yeah, it's people like Tantor and stuff. I mean, people, I've worked with like Audiobook Empire and who are great publishing house opportunities. I think they're called. Another one, PHO, that I'm working with at the moment. I've done, Silverton Audio, I've done stuff with, but I don't think anyone involved with those people, any people involved with those companies would begrudge or argue with me getting Tantor is massive.
Yeah.
Tantor is
it's
one
a
of the
big
big
deal for me.
names. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
like
most
one
of
of
the
the real big
audiobooks I feel like I listen to say, produced by Tantor Media.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
That or Penguin Audio is another
Penguin
one we hear a
Audio,
lot.
or
Yeah.
Penguin something Random House or
Penguin
something
Random
like that.
House. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
I'm actually, funnily enough, hoping now that I will start, because I will do these books with I'm signed up for one, so I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Mhm.
The contract that I signed is for one, and because I think it's a case of like, then we'll go on to the next ones if this one goes
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
They still give you the one to start with, but usually it's a solo book, whereas
Right.
like a one-off book, whereas this is the first part in a series, so they have to
Yep.
like find someone else to do the
Right.
rest.
Yeah.
Kind of a
And-
big
yeah,
no-no to,
unless-
like switch narrators part, after 1 or 2 books.
Yep. I know
Yeah.
that frustrates readers for sure.
Yeah,
Big time.
unless you completely phoned in the first book, there's no way they're gonna
Yeah.
want to switch narrators.
Yeah.
No, I hope not.
but-
Yeah, no, I obviously I wouldn't, and I enjoy giving a big committed performance anyway, especially if it's as badass as the sample I've read.
Nice.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
That's super cool.
So yeah, it's like there's Penguin and Macmillan and stuff, and like now I'm like, okay, now what I need to do is I need to do these books or a few of these books, and then go to these other companies and say, hey, I'm working with Tantor. Drop that name in there. How about I work with you? Because if Tantor's taking me seriously, how about you take me seriously too?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's hopefully it's going to open more doors for me in that respect as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's definitely I always talk about portfolios like I have a physical portfolio that I carry around with me to like different jobs and stuff, and it has like pictures of my work, and it has like the biggest names that I've worked with as far as like companies and stuff. Um, and I feel like that it goes a long way when you're able to name drop something like Tantor. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm well chuffed about it. It's some good news that I really needed to have, and I feel like, my personal life's been very difficult, and it's still going to continue to be difficult to having to move house and stuff when I don't want to. But hey, so it's like it's between this and there is another audio. I'm working on an audiobook at the moment, and then I've also been. There's a really quite influential fantasy book series. The first book in it is called The Dragonbone Chair. I think it came out in the 80s. Do you know?
By Tad Williams?
Yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So our graphic audio do audio dramas, and I got cast as like a really major character called Joshua in that, who's like not the main character, but he is the character that leads the armies of good against the forces of darkness. He's like a really major character.
Yep.
And these are like monstrous novels. They're like going to have to divide them into like 6-part audio dramas and stuff.
Yeah.
I read on Wikipedia the last book in the series is literally one of the longest books ever written.
Wow.
Officially.
That's crazy.
So yeah, it's cool to have that kind of work consistently coming in as well for a really cool, influential project, like or on a piece of media that is very cool and influential. Like George R.R. Martin said that series is very influential to him as well. So,
yeah, I've been meaning to read. I've been meaning to read The Dragonbone Chair for a long time.
Yeah. Will you get around to it, do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, especially if it's coming out as a graphic audio, for sure. Yeah.
How do you feel about a graphic, like an audio drama version then? Because that's obviously a little different to listening to an audiobook, right?
It is. Yeah, we've had varied experiences with audio dramas. We've listened to some that were, you could tell they were poorly produced, and it really makes a big difference in the quality that we hear. But we've also had some that were like, for instance, what's that vampire series? Yeah, that was incredible.
Impact
I mean, it was like Impact Winter. It was stunning. It was excellent. So I know there's potential there. Like it's if it's done well, it's so cool. And I would much rather listen to, graphic audio that's well done versus just a regular
audiobook,
narrated audiobook. Yeah. So I think they're really cool.
Yeah, but we've definitely had ones that were a little I don't know.
My problem with them was just production stuff. Like the voices were okay, but then they're like, let's say the background sounds were way too loud, and then you couldn't hear certain things, and like some voices were way louder than others, and it was like all stuff that I feel like could be fixed, with a little attention in the sound booth or whatever.
Yeah. But they're often a little bit abridged or altered to make them so there would be things like fight scenes where instead of having them, the narrator describe the fight scene, there would be sound effects in certain places rather than. So do you consider that having read the book still? Because that is do you know what I mean?
I think it depends on like what your purpose is. Like we were going through or we still are going through Brandon Sanderson's books, like the Cosmere, and I had read oh my god, why am I forgetting the name of it? Warbreaker. I had read Warbreaker in just the normal audiobook format before. I had done it through the graphic audio before, and I
Mhm.
really loved it. And then when we were getting ready to do the podcast, I did the audiobook instead, just to make sure there wasn't any like things that got
Sure.
abridged that I would be missing. And I really, it had been like a good period of time between the times when I had read the graphic or listened to the graphic audio and then listened to the audiobook. So
Mhm.
I can't remember if there was any major differences, but I think that the graphic audio people do a really good job of giving you the idea of what's going on, because usually in an action scene, I'm kind of glossing over it anyways, unless a character does
Yeah.
something really creative and clever. I'm in my head, I'm kind of like,
They're
boom,
battling,
smash,
they're
pow.
fighting.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
exactly. It's
Yeah.
like I'm not really paying attention to the action that much. It's just a vehicle to get us to like a character dying or something.
Yeah.
And so I think graphic audio does a really good job of giving everything you need to know, um,
Mm.
and kind of leaving out the things that your brain is probably going to skip over anyways.
Mhm. Mhm. Oh,
But
well, that's good to hear then.
yeah, I would say if somebody came on here and was like, yeah, I didn't read this book like through an audiobook or physically, but I listened to the graphic audio, I would still
Yeah.
consider that to be
Having.
have
Yeah.
have been read by them.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah. Speaking of Brandon Sanderson, I was also in a graphic audio version of Wind and Truth from the
No
Stormlight
way.
archive. Yeah,
Are you
so that
serious?
was pretty fun. No,
Was that
yeah, I'm serious. Yeah, yeah.
that's the brand new book that just came out.
Is it? Yeah, it
Yeah.
was. I did it fairly recently, so
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
It's
in
it's
that.
like brand new.
Yeah, I can't
That's
remember what
crazy.
the name of the character is now. That's
That's
really
all right.
bad.
No.
That's cool. We'll know
Um,
when we read it. Trust me, we'll know.
What was that? Do you notice I don't know how into this you want to get, but do you notice a big payday uh between like just some like random book and then like a Brandon Sanderson book? Is there like a significant like pay increase or anything?
no.
Okay.
So not with no, I with that kind of stuff I just get there's a flat fee for when
Yeah.
you work for um a company by a certain, you get paid by the amount of time you're in the studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you get the company fee no matter what it is, which I
Right.
think is fair, because I feel like if there's voice actors who are not in stuff like the Stormlight archive, um, I feel like and if they don't get near that, it makes it easier for voice actors who are not in maybe the big name stuff. Like, if I
Yeah.
just feel like that's really fair to to
Yeah.
be like everyone gets the same fee. I like that
Yep.
because there's
Sure.
no. Yeah, I think that just makes it more fair for
There's
everyone.
no like
Everyone gets the
bias.
same
Yeah.
pay rate. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and like it's such a subjective thing. Like, it's art, and art is so subjective that, like, in a way, it's hard to kind of go. It doesn't require more labor, as in, it doesn't require more work.
Yeah.
It's not harder for me to be in a Brandon Sanderson thing or performing
Sure.
that
Yeah.
than it is to be in an audio drama by a much smaller
Yeah.
author or a far less high selling series. It's the same work. I'm putting the same effort
Yeah.
in. So,
But is there not like a commission or like royalties or anything from something that sells better than something else?
while I would love that, no,
Okay.
there isn't. And I say that while I would love that because that would net me plenty of money from Stormlight Archive, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, there isn't. And again, I don't like royalty share stuff
Right.
unless you're just starting off. And the issue with royalty share stuff, in my opinion, is a lot of it requires the rights owner to put their back into marketing it so it will sell. And they might not. So, like, if you're being paid, if you were getting a flat fee and then you got royalties on top, even then it probably still wouldn't be fair. Yeah. So basically, if you're paying, if you do an audio drama or an audio book, and you get paid royalties, if the rights holder or the author does then not market the audio book at all, or the
Then you're
audio
at a
drama
loss.
at all, you're at a loss. So,
Yeah.
like,
Right.
if it's people always starting off, not well, I can see the point in doing it to start off to get some credits to your name, or if it's like
Right.
a passion project, and you're like, I love
Yeah.
that and I can't not do it.
Right.
But I would always advise people to just steer clear of
Yeah.
royalty, because it's
Yeah.
all the risk is on you as a voice actor. It doesn't
That's
send
what-
them.
Yep.
It
Yeah.
doesn't cost them anything to send you with the fucking audiobook, which the book which already exists.
Right.
They just
Yeah.
send you an email, right? That costs them nothing. Then
Right.
you can put in like a month's worth of work, and then if it doesn't sell, if they don't have to market it, because if it doesn't sell, they can go, oh, well, at least it didn't cost me anything. At least
Right.
I'm not at a loss here.
Yep.
You know. Whereas the voice actor, the audiobook narrator, if it doesn't sell, then you're at a big loss. Like you've
Right.
lost some of your
Right.
That's what I did
learning.
some research a while back about that exact topic, and the consensus is it's like you said,
I'll
at
be
a
right back.
large risk to the narrator
Yes.
or the person that's
Yeah,
doing the voice.
absolutely.
And it's either you might very rarely that might pay off, but 9 times out of 10 it probably won't.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would always advise people
for
to
sure.
feel well clear of doing that kind of thing.
Definitely. Well, that's really cool, man. I'm really happy for you. I think that's awesome.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm well chuffed. Well chuffed. So yeah, that's my big news.
Sweet.
That's it, really. And I'm hoping, and the house needs to be sold, but obviously that then needs to fit around my work obligations, because I can't. I can't just take my laptop to a cafe if the house is out.
For sure. Yeah, totally.
Like most other jobs can. I need a studio. So
Yep. That's true.
See
that'll
be
a pain for sure. But what's not in life, it's always tough.
Very
man.
true. Yeah. So yeah, it's some it's some happiness, which is nice.
The movement. Yep.
Yeah.
Movement's good, man.
Yeah. I feel like getting Tantor is really cresting a wave, which is makes me happy.
Yep.
Yeah. What about your working life? How's yours going?
It's so boring, man. It's so uneventful. I mean, work's good. Like we're busy. There's tons of work to do. But I'm just a grunt, so it's the same thing every day. We basically get 3 days to, I work at Boeing, so we're build airplanes, and I get 3 days to
which
work.
Is very cool.
It is cool. It's a cool job. It's a really cool job, and I love it. I enjoy it a lot. I think it's really, very interesting, and it's kind of a niche thing, that I've gotten pretty good at, and so that's super fun. But what I was saying earlier, it's like, it's. I mean, Boeing is the definition of doing the same thing again. Like every plane that I work on, I'm doing the same exact thing, the same exact way. Mind you, that's cool because you get really good at it. But there's times where I'm like, it'd be kind of nice to like do something else, like
Uh-huh.
work on a different area or something, but that's hard to do. But
Well,
overall,
that's-
it's
Do you
good.
find
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say that's what I love about my job so much is that all the time I'm going into a completely new house. It's a completely
Yep,
different
keeps it
solution that I have to
interesting,
come
right?
up with. Yeah.
Keeps
Uh-huh.
it interesting. And I shouldn't say that my job's not interesting, because there's plenty of times where something happens where we got to go fix something that's, fix something that hasn't been broken that way before, and we got to figure out how to do it correctly.
Sure.
And so
Yeah.
that keeps it super interesting. But overall, I'm happy, man. It's a good job, and
good?
it's a safe career, and so I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
So what do you do exactly in building aircraft?
So I build the leading edge of the 777. So basically,
You're gonna have to.
yeah. So it's the part of the wing, left wing and right wing. The part of the wing that hits
Yeah.
the air first, the very, very tip that's rounded out of the wing. That's what I build, and that's it. That's the only part I
okay.
built. Yeah, and so it's it's a full wing. We lay it down. It's however many hundreds of feet long, 100 something. I don't know. It's pretty big. And then I have my little area that I basically attach everything and drill holes and do this
Mhm.
and that. And then that's it. Then I do the same thing in another 3 days, and then the same thing in another 3 days. And it's crazy. I started when I hired in at Boeing, we were on order number 1710. So the 1710th plane is what I started working on.
Mhm.
And now we're on almost the 1900s. So I built hundreds of 777 wings.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Amazing. You're
That's
still
wild.
flying through the air.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
That's so cool, man.
yeah.
So do you mind me asking where in the country you work?
Yeah, so I work in Washington State. So the very kind of Pacific
Okay.
Northwest part of basically
Okay.
Seattle. That's where Boeing is based out of.
Right.
So
Okay.
I work up there.
I asked because there's a listener to my radio show who works building aircraft.
Oh, cool.
But I wasn't sure. I think he's like in Texas or somewhere.
Yeah, we got one in
no, yeah.
there's one in, I think we've got like 4 or 5 plants around the country.
Mhm.
Texas wouldn't surprise me. We got, I think, 3 or 4 on the east side, which is, Texas, Florida, kind of.
I was gonna
that
say,
area.
yeah, Florida.
Yep. Yeah, it's funny. I hope that, maybe I shouldn't say this, but some of those other plants have problems, quite a few problems,
Right.
and they have to send them to us to fix them. So we're always kind of just talking a little bit of light smack about,
Yeah.
it's all
That's
in
funny.
fun.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
No, I think you can get away with that kind of good-natured
Yeah.
workplace.
Yeah, that's all it is,
Rivalry.
dude. It's just good.
Yeah.
nature.
Schmack. Yeah.
RJ,
A little bit
I
of
was
smack talking.
I was gonna ask you, have you heard of what's it called, Gabe? Sound booth.
Theater.
Sound booth theater?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
I don't know
And-
why. Did I tell you that?
No, Dungeon
I
Crawler
auditioned
Carl.
with them recently.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I think
Yeah.
it's Sound Booth Theater.
That sounds right.
But
Yeah,
have
we
you
could do that? Yeah.
have you listened to Dungeon Crawler Carl, RJ?
Not yet. It's on my list. It's
Nice.
I
Dude.
heard good things about it though.
Listen to me, RJ.
We're having yeah, we gotta
Yeah.
okay, I gotta go to the bathroom. Spencer, explain why this is a shock to everybody.
Yeah.
It's
Now-
it's lit RPG, isn't it?
It's
But you
lit
like it.
RPG, and everybody knows that there's a video that I have coming out about this soon where I go into detail
Yeah.
about it. But everybody knows that I hate lit RPG. There is one other series that Gabe has gotten me to read that I was like, that wasn't so bad. But even something like Cradle, I didn't like the Cradle series until like the 8th book. And so, You know, I'm not a big fan of lit RPG and progression and everything, but YouTube, like people that I really respect and trust on YouTube, like Mike's Book Reviews and Bookborn and even like
Yeah.
Daniel Green and Captured in Words, they were all talking about Dungeon Crawler Carl, and I'm like, these
Yeah.
are not people that would like lit RPG. And
Yeah.
one by one, they were all saying, this is like the best thing I've read this year, and all sorts of stuff. And I was like, what is going on with this? So I was like, you know, if you ever need, you know, cheap YouTube points, you just look
Yeah.
at some book that's going viral and
Yeah.
you do a video on it, and you'll probably get a lot of views on it. So
Mm-hmm.
I texted our group chat and I was like, hey guys, we got to try this Dungeon Crawler Carl book. It's really popular right now. I think it'll get us a lot of views. And
Yeah.
so I initially read it expecting to hate it and just be on the episode and like talk a bunch of shit about it. And
Like he does with every other
lit RPG,
lit
yeah. And so I was like, it's gonna be stupid, but let's read it and just like,
Yeah.
you know, try to get in on the hype
Talk crap about
train.
This book.
Yeah. I got to the end of the first book and I don't think I had even said anything to the group chat yet, but like I got to the end of the first book and I was like, well, I'm like, I liked it, and I'm like, I want to see what's happening in the next book. And so I bought the next book and started reading that. I was like maybe 45 minutes into the second book, and I was like, this is fucking amazing. And so I texted the group chat and I was like, hey, do you guys want to do books 1 and 2? And both, and then Sam was like, I'm already deep into book 2. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, okay. And then I checked in a few days later and Gabe's like, I'm in book 3 or book 4 or whatever. And I'm like, what? And then by the end of that week, I had read all the way through the first 4 books. This all happened in like a week and a half. We were just like binging these books like none other.
Amazing.
I don't think
Still am.
Yeah, still am. And like I don't think I've gone through that many books so quickly in like a very long time.
And you all enjoyed them.
Yes. Yeah, very much so. Like yeah, they're very, very, very well written. And they're
Actually,
what's that?
I spent a credit on it. I've just not got around to it yet.
Oh, dude, yeah, you should move it up on your list, especially.
Yeah.
And the reason I bring it up to you is because the narrator is so good. He does like crazy different voices for
crazy
every
voices.
character. His like editing and production is so amazing. He'll add like sound effects and like he'll modulate some voices for like there's an AI that controls the dungeon and he's got like this modulated voice. And I was gonna send it to you. The narrator, Jeff Hayes, he did an interview with Mod's book club, and the way he was talking about audiobook narration reminded me so much of you. And I'm like, I think that RJ would really, really appreciate the kinds of things that this guy is saying. And so I've been meaning to send you that interview because I really think you should listen to it.
Please
because
do. What kind of stuff was he saying?
He was just kind of going through like how he prepares for a certain character and like what he does in his head to kind of like set himself up for it, and like the pride that he takes in his work and his like genuine love of the industry of like voice acting and stuff. And he even, you know, he was talking about how he lands on a certain voice for each character and like the kind of interaction he has with the author. And it kind of reminded me of you, like with your packet and stuff. And so I was like, yeah, I'm like, I bet RJ would like this a lot. And especially, I mean, he's still a fantastic narrator in the first book, but there is a noticeable jump in quality
Yeah.
from the first book to the second book. Just as far as like his acting goes, like it's all good. It's all really, really good. But in the first
Yeah.
book, I think he's like kind of figuring out the characters and kind of playing around with them a little bit. And then by the
Yeah.
time you get into the second book, he has absolutely nailed down how these characters sound. And
Awesome.
it's just like off to the races, and they all sound so good, like so believable,
man.
so real. So yeah, you gotta read Dungeon Crawler Carl, dude. It's so
I
it's
will.
it's funny. It's funny, but it's not like a satire or a parody book. Like it's like
Yeah.
a book with a really, really good story that happens to have a lot of humor in it.
Man, that sounds just what I need.
Yeah. So yeah, it was, I mean, to be completely honest, it was what I needed after a couple months of getting shit on.
bet.
And it was nice just to have this series where I'm like, I don't want to stop. I just want to go through every single book, just one after another after another. And
Yeah.
now Gabe and I are both in book 5.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I think there's 7 out right now. And so far he's been releasing like 1.5 a year. So like every like 3 quarters he'll release a new one. It seems like.
Fucking hell, that's a good output.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're coming out quick, and and yeah, it's just been so much fun. And then the reason I bring up
Nice.
Sound Booth is because Jeff Hayes, I think it's his company from what I understand, or maybe he's just like a bigwig in the company or something. And at the end of every Dungeon Crawler Carl book, he'll do like this in-world advertisement for Sound Booth, and he's like,
That's
if you
awesome.
he's like, if you want to hear Dungeon Crawler Carl sounding like this, and it sounds like a graphic audio type book, he's
Yeah.
like, then come check out Sound Booth. We have Dungeon Crawler Carl over there, and you can hear me do the voice for Carl in a graphic audio style,
Yeah.
with like a full cast and everything.
Yeah. So my friend who was telling me about Tantor, she's friends with Jeff Hayes.
Oh shit!
And yes, and that's when I wrote recently to because she was like, drop my name in, like feel free to name drop me. And so when I wrote to try and get an audition with Sound Booth Theatre, that's it, because that's what made rung my bell. That's what rung my bell. That makes me sound like it turned me on. You know what I mean? I was, I put in my email FAO Jeff Hayes. I didn't end up speaking to Jeff Hayes. I ended up speaking to someone else. But yeah. So yeah,
I was gonna say, can you get me an interview with Jeff Hayes?
I mean, have you tried?
No, I should. I've really been
Let's try,
wanting my wish list for this next year is Matt Dinneman, who writes Dungeon Crawler Carl, Jeff Hayes, the narrator, and then also I desperately want to get Jay Kristoff on the channel. I want to get him on so bad.
Who does the Empire books?
Yep.
Yes. Yep. I don't know if you've read those, but you would love those as well.
You have recommended them to me. They're in my wish list.
Okay.
But they are extremely long.
They're very long books. They
they're
are, yeah.
commitment for sure.
Yeah.
I look at stuff and I'm like, oh, I don't know. Or
Yeah,
I can't just breeze through that one.
Yep.
Yeah, the Dungeon Crawler Carl books are fairly short. They get longer as they go.
Yeah, I would say at least the first couple are fairly short.
Yeah, but it'll be enough to like try it and see if you like it.
Yeah, I'm sure I will as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're gonna love. I kind of like, while I was reading them, I like specifically thought of you. I was like, I bet RJ would like these.
The Empire books or the Claw books?
The crawl books, yeah, the Dungeon Crawler. I mean, both of them, but
yeah.
I think you would love. I think the humor in Dungeon Crawler Carl fits your humor probably. Yeah.
I'll definitely listen to it.
I've got a list at the moment. I'm listening to Odyssey by Stephen Fry at the moment.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm an absolute sucker for ancient Greece and ancient Greek mythology, and that's
Yeah.
why I love fiction because of studying that at school. And also, my friend bought me the book of mythology, Odyssey,
Odyssey.
and I was like,
Yeah.
"That is lovely," and I want to read it, but I'm probably just going to spend a credit on
Right,
listening
yeah.
to it instead
I
of
know.
reading it, and then I've got the object for my for my shelf.
Right, yeah, that's what I do too.
But because he's a very good friend, and he bought me a nice gift, I want to make sure I
read it in one way or the other. And then there's a kind of older book. I think it's like late 80s. It's a book called The Shadow of the Torturer.
Oh yeah.
Which is like, yeah.
That's a
Gene
hard
something.
Yeah, that's a hard book to get through.
Really? Have you
Yeah,
read
it is a slog. I've tried it, and our other co-host Chris read it, and he
Yeah.
has a much higher tolerance for sloggy books. Like he really likes Dune and stuff like that. And he came back from it saying, like, man, yeah, he's like I liked it because it presented a lot of good ideas, but it is a slog. And then our friend
right, okay.
Jim from Fantasy for the Ages came on and said the exact same thing. And I was like, yeah, I'm like, I don't think this will ever be a book that Gabe and I will be interested in.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I just know it's very influential on the
it is, yeah.
grimdark genre.
Oh yeah,
So-
very much so. Yeah.
Because that's my jam so much, I was like, I feel like I should read this
Sure.
influential book. And also,
Right.
like, the name, I'm a sucker for names, and The Shadow of the Torturer is a good name.
Yeah,
It
that's
is a good
name.
name.
for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm a sucker for like characters who you should not like, and someone who's
Yeah.
a torturer. That's that's a job by someone you're not predisposed to like. So
Right. Right.
that also appealed to me. So I've got
Yeah.
that to do. But then I imagine I'll get onto Dungeon Crawler Carl, or maybe
Yeah.
I'll do Dungeon Crawler Carl before Shadow of the Torturer as a treat. I'll see.
Yeah, it's so nice. There's so many funny moments that you wouldn't like whenever like there's humor throughout all of it, but the funniest
Mhm.
moments are the ones that you don't expect because so
Right.
there's this AI that runs the dungeon. He's going, he has to go down all these floors throughout the dungeon. He starts out on floor 1 and the AI that controls the whole thing is kind of like narrating everything, and anytime he picks up a new weapon, it'll say, you just got the sword of fuckface or whatever. Not really, but like you just got the sword of like whatever, and here's the ability it gives you. And there's usually a unique ability tied to each like weapon or piece of armor or whatever. And
Yeah.
you get so used to that throughout the first couple books. And then I think it's in the third book or maybe in the later in the second book, he picks up this item called Mana Toast. And the way that the AI narrates this is said, he's like, you just picked up Mana Toast. It's toast, and it refills your mana. That's all it does. Fuck you. And it's just like,
It was priceless.
Yeah.
So unexpected. And then
Yep.
that's what made it so funny. We were texting about that exact
fantastic.
quote, and it just
Yeah.
cracked us up like randomly throughout the day. It was awesome.
Because you get so used to like these descriptions where the AI is telling you exactly what this thing does. And just like the simplicity of that's all it does. Fuck you. And just like, oh man, it just landed so well. But yeah,
it does sound like
it's
just my cup of
fantastic.
tea, actually.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great. I was going to ask you, I'm sure we have some other topics we can move on to, but I was going to ask you about what are the rules around, like if you just had a book you liked, even if it was like a popular book, like a Dresden Files book or something, and you you read it on like if you made a YouTube video where you just like narrated that book, like you're just like reading it
Yeah.
out loud, are you able to do that, or is there some legality?
It's
Because
gotta
I've
be in public
Nah.
domain, right?
No, well, no. I mean, some books are in the public domain and some aren't.
Yeah.
And in some countries have their own public domain laws.
Hmm.
So books tend to be in the public domain earlier, by and large, in the UK than they are, say, in America. Because I think in America, it's maybe
it has to be after the author dies, right?
no. That's the UK. So
Oh,
in the UK, it's 70 years after the author dies.
wow.
Which is, yeah. So, for example, on my podcast, Bailey's Bookshelf, where I just do public domain audiobooks, fortunately, I'm currently doing 1984. Fortunately, George Orwell died quite young, so which is really good because, no, I'm joking, but it is fortunate for me because that means that like that's a fairly recent book, 1984, because it came out in 1949. That is in the public domain because he died quite young. Whereas, so 70 years after his death is now that's elapsed. Whereas
that
I
the
think in places like
What's that?
Sorry, is that the
What?
military? Is it like a book about a war or something? What's that? They came out with a
It's
movie
like a-
that was like
it's like a
it was just a day.
dystopian.
Okay, something else. So like
1984 is like the dystopian book. Like it's the dystopian society book. Like
gotcha.
have you ever heard like people say Big Brother is watching you and stuff
Oh
like that?
yeah.
Yeah, that's where all that comes from. 1984
Oh, okay.
is
Gotcha.
where the idea of Big Brother comes from, and words. So if you've heard of people on online discourse, people will often, when they're having arguments online and think they're being very clever and talking about politics, they'll say things like thought crime and the thought police are going to come and get you.
Oh,
All of those
yeah.
things are from 1984. Like George
Wow.
Orwell invented the idea of thought crimes and thought police, and that comes from 1984. Like it's this absolutely all-controlling government that just crushes. It's basically a satire on like Stalinism, because that was very big during Orwell was writing it and during the time when he was alive, and so it's all very much like thought crime, and
Gotcha.
you might have heard the term doublethink and stuff like that, because George Orwell has this in 1984 they have this, the language is being rewritten and reinvented by the government into something called Newspeak, where they're like trying to cut down on the amount of like they're destroying words. They're going through the dictionary and like just taking words out. Basically, because their idea is they are like, if people can't use words, they can't think as much, and they can't.
They can't or defend
have
themselves.
as many ideas. So they can't rebel as much because they just don't have the language, and the way you speak affects the way you think. And so like they just, by removing all of, so like and there's this whole bit which is really good where he's talking to one of the lexicographers. The main character Winston is talking to a lexicographer, and the lexicographer's just in love with it, and he thinks it's wonderful, and he's like, because like you've got all of these words that mean the opposite of good, like bad or awful or like not, or unpleasant or whatever, when you can just say ungood. We've already got like, you don't need all of these nebulous words, these airy fairy words. We could just say ungood, that means the opposite. And people say, well, what if something is very ungood? Well, that's the beauty of Newspeak, which is the language that they're trying to force on people.
The government approved language.
They're just like, we don't even need to say terrible anymore. We just say double ungood or double plus ungood. It's so good. If you've not read it or listened to it, I mean, listen to my version if you want.
Yeah.
Although you shouldn't, because you're in America. so you're not allowed to listen to it. I'm sure you can add. Get it on any podcast.
Why am I not allowed to
platform.
listen to it? Because I'm in America.
Because it's
Oh,
not in
because of
copyright.
that, because of the
It's in
domain
copyright.
law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's public domain
Oh, okay.
where I am and where I.
Well,
make
I will
it,
come
where
to
I
England and listen
activate
to it.
all local laws.
Yeah.
That's what I'll do.
Whatever
My
you
VPN will take
do,
me there.
do not go on Spotify or wherever you get podcasts, because it will be available there, but you must have the self-control not to listen to it. It would be bad. So don't
Okay.
have the self-control not to listen
Okay.
to it. However, if you can find some way of listening to my version that doesn't break your own country's laws, not that anyone will find out, but you're a good upstanding citizen,
Yep.
then I honestly recommend reading or listening to 1984, because there's a lot of stuff going on right now where it is scarily prescient,
Similar?
like
Yeah.
scarily relevant. Like it's never been more relevant. It's absolutely crackers. I don't know how I went down that alleyway. But yes,
That's all right.
the public domain. Yes, if it's in public domain, yes, you can do whatever the fuck you want with it. That's basically what public domain is, which is why I'm doing things like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and
Yeah.
1984 and Dracula and War of the Worlds, which is why you see so many like Dracula adaptations and stuff, because it's an iconic character.
Well,
and it's so old, it's in public domain all over the world now, so you can just publish it everywhere and make a profit.
so I guess
What were you
what I
saying?
was getting at is would there be any repercussions for someone like me if I just
Mhm.
opened a book and started reading it on video and then posted that video to YouTube? Is there
Potentially, right? I feel like that would just depend on where the owner of the rights is at. Like they could,
I guess,
they
but
could
I'm
come
not.
after you, somebody small, right? Doesn't have a huge influence and waste a bunch of money on lawyers and this and that.
But I'm just I'm not playing the audiobook. I'm not playing the
Yeah.
licensed audiobook. I'm not showing the text on screen. I'm just reading from the book. Is there a difference, or do they all consider it the same thing?
So you kind of asked two different questions there with one question, because
Okay.
you said, would there be any consequences? And that is a different question to, is it illegal?
Oh,
Could you get
okay.
away with it? I imagine you could, yeah. I imagine you could get away with it, because I've searched for stuff on, I've searched for certain heavy metal bands. I think there's a band that I was searching for called Dragonland. And as I typed in Dragonland, it came up with a podcast that was Dragonlance, which is a fantasy book series, which is owned by whoever owns the copyright on Dungeons and Dragons, because it's set in a Dungeons and Dragons universe.
Right.
And it was clearly an amateur production, and it was clearly someone just making their own audiobook of it, and it's been up there for ages.
Right.
And I don't think they felt any consequences from it. However, because they would have probably been forced to take it down. However, it will have been illegal or against the law to do that.
Yeah.
But you probably won't feel any consequences from it. And there is an argument that, because that's like an audiobook, so there's something called fair use in copyright law, which as far as I can tell, seems to be quite similar in both here in America, which is fair use is if you are using it as some kind of commentary or making an illustrative point with it, or using it in some kind of documentary way. Often they say it has to be transformative. So it has to be something that isn't just a straight presentation of the material and you are going to profit of it without getting the correct permissions and paying royalties, etc. Whereas if you are, I used to listen to, it's not run anymore, unfortunately, but I think you can still find it. It's still online, called a podcast called Heavy Metal Historian which was did exactly what the name suggests.
Mhm.
And on that, he would play music. I am 100% certain, although I have no proof to back it up, that he will not have got permission from like Black Sabbath or
Right.
you
Yeah.
know Blue Oyster Cult or whatever to play a full song of theirs. However, because it was in the context of a history program where he was talking about the history of heavy metal, and then like Black Sabbath was like the first heavy metal band, and if he plays a Black Sabbath song, that counts as fair use because he's just talked about the creation of heavy metal and the first ever heavy metal songs and stuff,
Yeah.
and then he played one to illustrate what that sounded like.
Yeah.
To say, and this is what it sounds like.
Right.
So yes, that would count as fair use, and in a way, something that you can say is like something that you can do to kind of like be more considered fair use is like use it for educational purposes. So you're not playing the song Black Sabbath by Black Sabbath from the album Black Sabbath to enjoy the song, just to get a thrill out of an exciting piece of music. You will be thrilled by it, and it is an exciting piece of music. But the point is not to let's sit and enjoy this piece of music. It's to hear. It's to kind of like sum up a point that's being made in an educational way. Does that make sense?
I'm often really curious about the channels on YouTube that will break a song down like piece by piece, like, oh, let's look at the verse and see what they do with the verse. And they're playing the song, and so it's like, how are you not getting hit with copyright? But that makes sense if they view it as educational.
Is this fairly modern music as well?
Yeah, very modern. Yeah.
So they will be part of the because I have a radio show, so I've seen these kind of YouTube channels. I don't really watch them myself, but I've watched some. They will now be part of the promotional ecosystem as well. So record labels want to get their music out there and people hearing their music. So not only is it like not only is it fair use, but a record label will be glad. They'll be like, oh good, that album, that record is getting some airplay, some a whole set of listeners or whatever, and new audience, and if they like it, they'll go and listen to the rest of that album or something, or check out the other work by the artist, ultimately leading to more sales, more downloads, more music made, more tickets sold at concerts, etc. So the ones I've watched of that ilk are like, they've always said, oh, I've got people, audience members of, people, my viewers are wanting me to look at this song. And I've never heard, but and with surprise, I've never heard, oh, the record label sent me this, because like, that's something but I bet like there are them out there where record labels have sent them in the same way they send me music to play. Record labels will be sending them music to play. You know what I mean?
Right. For
so
sure.
Yeah, those kind of people who listen to that kind of stuff, they will, or do make that kind of YouTube content. They will, be encouraged. And people will be wanting them to play their stuff. So,
right. Interesting.
Yeah, so it's all part of the ecosystem now for promoting music in the same way that back in the day they only could promote stuff by sending it to radio stations, but now there's all kinds of stuff.
YouTubers and stuff.
Yeah, like I'm online radio. They send stuff to me, and I some of the emails I get from certain record labels or certain promotion companies say like for for radio and podcast use. So there's music podcasts. There must be music podcasts out there which are playing songs that are sent to them, which I was surprised when I thought about that, because it's kind of like going, well, that's like recorded media. Like mine is live, so you can't really, it's harder to go back and rewind it, and like listen to the song again. Whereas if you've got like a podcast playing the songs, that's not even like that's not live, like that's recorded media, so you've got a recording of that song for free now. But evidently they encourage and are happy with that, because that's why I receive emails that say for radio and podcast use.
Right.
I'm sorry, I feel
Interesting.
like I've waffled on for ages now. Sorry.
No, you're good. I've just been taking it in. It makes a lot of sense, because I've wondered about this for a long time. There's a couple YouTube channels that I had followed that would do like let's go through the entire Olivia Rodrigo album or something and like break down every song. And I'm like, how are they getting away with playing Olivia Rodrigo on YouTube, like on their own channel? It's pretty crazy, but yeah, it makes sense if they're kind of part of that ecosystem, because I'm like, there's got to be some sort of promotional stuff going on here, because it's always the most popular artists and that kind of thing. So
yeah, well, it'll be of Olivia Rodrigo. She's extremely popular, right?
Yeah.
So I
her.
imagine people like that, Taylor Swift or whatever, they don't need that kind of help. So I imagine that's more of a case of fair use.
Right.
Because I imagine someone like Taylor Swift would actually be like, no, get off, stop doing that. Whereas music I listen to, like heavy metal, needs all the exposure it can get.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
They almost appreciate it.
They're probably going to go,
Yeah.
They're going to go, oh yeah, we'll take that extra exposure.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so I have two different Reddits open.
Okay.
One is r/am I overreacting,
Ooh, we haven't done that one yet.
and the other one is r/confessions.
Oh, not am I the
Okay.
asshole?
Which one would you guys like to start with? We can bounce back
Overreacting.
and forth. Overreacting?
Yep, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we should do both for sure.
Yep. Okay. Let me
I love something about like, this is gonna sound terrible of me, and so I apologize to anybody that's gonna take offense to it. But you ever see anybody like overreacting, and in your head you're like, "Wow, they spun that way further than they needed to."
Oh yeah.
I have some fun in my head when I see that. I see it at work a lot,
Oh man.
and I'm like,
It's
"Yeah,
so
that's such a
insane when somebody
small problem and somebody's making it the world's ending." It's like,
Right.
holy crap.
Yep. Or I love the videos. They're really popular on Twitter right now. But it's someone that's like they just got pulled over for like speeding, or maybe their blinker was out or something, and they turn it into such a big thing where by the end of the video they're getting arrested
exactly.
because they just like hit a police officer or something. It's like, you
that's
moron.
another nervous one's like, and the cop will come up all nice, like, "Hey, sir, how's it going?
Right.
I pulled you over for your speed today. You're going 8 over."
Right.
And they just get all defensive and like, "No, I wasn't. How dare you say that to me?"
Right.
Blah blah blah. And then all of a sudden, they're going to jail because they freaking tried to punch a cop.
Right. Oh, it's insane. It's so
Outrageous.
insane.
Outrageous.
All right. Let me can I
Yeah, you gotta make that bigger for sure.
did I
Can you
make
go
it bigger
a
for you?
little bit more,
Yeah, let me
if
try.
possible? Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Yep.
Alrighty. So am I overreacting? My boyfriend waits 24 hours or more to text me. This may sound really dumb or obvious, but I need some guidance on what this should look like. My boyfriend rarely ever texts me first, but makes me feel the best when we're together. Him cheating or texting other girls are already off the table as he's never been a ladies' man, and I'm his very first time. Many experiences giving him the benefit of the doubt. He treats me amazingly, is patient, and overall has a good I don't know if English is their first language,
Has
but
good character as a person. The only
Yeah.
issue is I feel like he could care less to talk to me. Not a hi. What's up? What's
Plans
I'm
for
up,
today.
What I'm up to. Yeah. Morning, good
plans.
night, nothing. Just pure silence till I text him, and he immediately answers with great energy. Okay, you can continue. Sorry.
Okay, we've been dating for 6 months, so I guess it's just a comfortable phase. But I've never wanted to stop knowing about him the way he does with me. This could be an underlying problem I'm not noticing yet, or I could just be clingy, but I have no idea anymore. I've brought this up plenty of times, and he's acknowledged that I'm not happy when he does not talk to me outside of his scheduled time to do so. That's so clinical. But for 2 days, he will give me a fun call once, and the next. But for 2 days, he will give me a fun call, and for the next, haven't heard a word from him. I don't know if I should be used to the fact that we just won't really talk for some days, and it's not a huge deal. Am I overreacting? Oh, and we're minors, so we don't have any real jobs or
Yeah, I think
responsibilities.
she meant like give me a phone call once and the next, like once and again, once every while. Yeah, I wonder. I'd be interested to actually know their age.
Yeah.
Because it kind of sounds like maybe it's like, you know, a middle school girl potentially, or like early high school.
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't think, considering that she's adamant about, you know, there couldn't
cheating.
be anything else. Couldn't be anything else going on. He treats me amazing when we're in person, and he does respond excellently when it's the time to do so. You know, my inclination is to lean towards probably, you know, maybe he just doesn't like to text all that often, and that's okay.
Yeah, some people are shit at texting.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah.
don't enjoy texting, so I'll just go quiet.
Yeah, and or like you're
Sometimes
busy
like
and you're
that.
like, you know, you get a text and you're doing something, and you're like, okay, I can't respond right now because I'm busy. And then
Right.
maybe you forget
Yeah.
about it for a few hours, right? And then you get another one because the other person's concerned, and then you're like, no, I was busy. Like everything's fine. It's all good.
Right.
Yeah. In fact, when I get a text message sometimes, or what are those things called? Instant message
Yeah,
on Facebook
DM
Messenger,
or instant. Yep.
a WhatsApp. Sometimes if I get the same one from another one from the same person who I've already earmarked off to talk to, you know, message later,
Mhm.
that actually makes me go, "Fuck's sake, what now?" And so,
Yeah. Yep.
and so it makes me less likely or want to message them back, because I'm just like, oh, fucking leave me alone. I'm in the middle of something.
You're like, I'm busy. I'm doing
Right.
something. Quit
Yeah.
bothering me.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. I wanted to get your guys' takes before I put in mine, because I actually went through this very recently. And I was hanging out with somebody who did not want to text very often at all. And
Is this who we were talking about off camera?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Okay, right, yeah.
And yeah, I am a texter. Like I like to check in. I like to hear from people, even if I'm not like, it doesn't have to be like a romantic relationship, but like really any of like my core friends. Like if I just didn't hear from Gabe for like 2 weeks, I would be like, what the fuck is going on?
And I never would not, you know, like,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also
like,
think there's times like, because we've definitely gone like
Yeah.
maybe a week or two, right?
Yeah.
But then there's always that check-in, and I'm just rereading again. She's like, he treats me amazingly. He's patient. Overall, is good character. Blah blah blah. I don't get a hi. What I'm up to today? Plans for today? Good morning. Good night. Nothing. Just pure silence. So I text him hi, and he immediately responds with great energy. So like, I think she's expecting him, which is, that's
It,
fair.
it sounds like he's not initiating.
Yeah,
a
he's not
lot.
initiating, but he's responding though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
could be.
He's giving the energy back from what I can read, which
Yeah,
I guess out of this problem I would feel is the better, it's the better outcome.
right.
So
Anyways,
for me,
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your.
No, you're good.
no. For me, my thought is like, is it seriously upsetting her?
Is it like malicious?
Yeah.
No. I mean, like, it doesn't need to be malicious, but is it like seriously upsetting her?
Yeah.
And has she spoken to him about it? The
Oh,
fact
yeah,
it
good
really
point.
upset her.
Good point.
And like, if she said, "This really upsets me," and I know it might seem trivial to you, but it gets,
It's
you know,
very
it
important
really
to
gets on
me.
my tits.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, it's not a good sign if he's being like not at all receptive to that. If he's just being like, "Nah, tough luck, love. That's just not me, I'm afraid.
Right.
I'm sorry, you get over it." I think that's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, you know, it's a small accommodation to make, really, to just, if it's going to really improve that person's mental health, it's such a small accommodation to make. Just do it. Like,
Yeah.
but
And
if
that's
you don't just do it, then that's quite callous and mean and selfish, and not the behavior you would expect towards a significant other.
yeah, well that's where I land with it too. It's like if you've made it clear that this is something that like you enjoy, why would you
Yeah.
not go out of your way to like make the other person feel more like comfortable or more seen or whatever?
More wanted.
So yeah, I don't know. I think in every relationship there's certain sacrifices that you have to make. And I think, you know, just because you don't like texting doesn't mean that you don't have an obligation
Yeah.
to, you know, this other person to like just, you know, completely skip that part of like courtship or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. I'm just like, because, you know, there may be something like, you know, if I was in a relationship, like, you know, I don't necessarily enjoy cooking, but like I will like cook for you because that's something that you enjoy.
Yep.
I'm
I'm at that stage right now, man. Quite literally.
So, you know, I think, yeah, I don't know. I don't know where to land on this. I think the fact that she says, I've brought this up plenty of times and he's acknowledged, or like he knows that I'm not happy when he doesn't talk to me outside his scheduled time to do
That's
so.
a big factor.
Yeah, it's like, well, it sounds like you guys.
And then it says, but for 2 days he will give me a fun call once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funky. It's a little funky, man.
Yeah, I think he probably needs to step up his game a bit and help her.
Right.
What are the
help.
What do the comments say? I'm curious.
So there's no comments.
It's
a brand new post.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Should we comment? Just kidding. I'm kidding.
Say grow up.
Yeah,
grow up.
Grow up. Be a man.
Okay, so let's hop over to confessions real quick. r/confessions. I microwaved a fork once just to see if the universe would notice. It did. I was 17, alone, and fueled by a dangerous mix of Hot Pockets and apathy. I stared at the microwave and thought, what if, just what if, the rules don't apply to me? So I put a fork in there, full metal, full send, sparks flew like literal fireworks. The microwave made a noise I can only describe as an electrical scream. I panicked and unplugged it like I was defusing a bomb. The microwave never worked right again. Every time it ran, it smelled like burnt toast and gave my Hot Pockets a weird metallic taste. My mom blamed it on cheap appliances. I said nothing, and I've lived with the guilt. Anyway, that was 10 years ago. I'm now an electrician. I still don't trust microwaves.
That's so
Amazing.
funny because there was I
great.
had a friend of mine growing up that would put his microwave in on top of his like cup of noodles thing
Yeah,
to hold it down.
yeah.
Never had a problem.
Really?
Totally fine. And I got so confused about it because my mom always, was adamant about no metal in the microwave. It's super dangerous. It'll catch on fire. So
And you're like, that's a myth. That's bullshit.
no,
I've seen my friend put his fork in there.
I believed her.
Yeah.
Like, but then I questioned it when I saw him do that, and so I
Right.
just did some research, and it all depends on what the fork is made out of. I don't know the metal, the content wise of what, but there's some metal that does not get affected in the microwave whatsoever. It's totally fine.
Oh,
Wow.
really?
Yeah, but 90% of any fork you would find, whether I don't know what it is, iron or whatever is made out of, is going to react. But there is metal that does not react in the microwave. I'm
Wow.
I
convinced
had
of that
no
because I watched
idea.
him do it probably 40 times.
Wow. That's incredible.
Wow.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Had no idea.
I didn't either. I would never try it. Like in the microwave for sure. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was a trip.
But you are encouraging your listeners to try it.
No, I'm not. Not doing that. Do not stick anything in the microwave.
Fantasy
It's
File
not
podcast
yeah.
officially endorses metal in the microwave.
Yep. Somebody's gonna blow up their house, and it's gonna be my fault.
Dude, some of these are good. Some of these are good. In my teens, I scammed people on RuneScape and made more money than most people make working full time. Firstly, I want to say that this was a long time ago and I haven't touched the game in years. I'm going to be pretty vague on some facts because if you played the game, you would likely have interacted with me at one point or another, as my scam accounts became pretty notorious as well as my legit accounts. Oh geez. Okay. We can do that. It's not that long. For about 5 years, I would separate people with golden pixels. I would separate people with golden pixels. I did this by firstly and most frequently simply fast and accurate clicking, changing values and items in trade screens, etc. This is now fixed thanks to the trade delay before. Okay, so what people used to do, for those that don't understand, you would open up a trade window, and on one side you would put like your item, and then they would put their item, and then at the last second you could, like if you put a pile of coins in there that was like 2 million coins, you could right click it and go change to X, and right before they accepted it, you change to X, and then you'd enter like 10 coins or something. And so right before the trade goes through, instead of getting 2 million, they're getting 10.
Right.
So that's what he's talking about there. This is now fixed thanks to the trade delay before being able to accept the screen. There were a number of other techniques that worked, including abusing game glitches and loopholes in systems, but there's no point going into detail as many people reading this won't know the game or how it works. Back when I did this, I was making on average anywhere between 300 to 500 million gold in a few hours of playing, and I would play every other day. The real world value of 1 million gold at the time was around 80 cents GPB, which is RJ's, right? That's what you use,
Yeah, Great Britain.
So at a baseline, 240 euro or pounds in 2 to 3 hours. Good days would be over 1 billion, with my very maximum score being 4.6 billion in a day, which
Just
is
almost
3,000
pounds.
Oh my
goodness,
god.
Wow.
crazy.
That's nuts. He says, I would also reinvest the money earned by paying account trainers to create unique accounts for me by hand training. I would then sell these accounts for 3 to 5 times their value. I would pay account farmers to farm items in game, and in turn turn them into gold and sell those for real money. I ran bots to farm items in gold, though found these unreliable due to increase in botting detection in the game. I'm not proud of it. I just found it interesting how much money can be made from a virtual ecosystem like RuneScape and how easy it was to access. Fairly sure all of the methods are patched now, hence why I'm finally confessing. Edit. Edit. This has apparently triggered a lot of RuneScape fanboys that still play. I'm sorry that I fucked with your weird little obsession, but it's in the past and there's nothing I can do about it now. In answers to your question, this was on and off for a collective total of about 5 years between 2012 and 2020, less towards the latter years. Yes, I took part in the magenta fat dupe. No, I wasn't. Okay, I don't know what any of that means. Castle Wars, bandages, and Duel Arena. Oh, I remember the Castle Wars. No, I do not care if you leave me or not. I did not expect this to pick up so much traction. Yeah, this is funny. I remember there was a big problem with people like cheating in RuneScape and making a profit off it. It was like one of the easiest games to like hack and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because there was no like game engine. It was all, do you remember Java from like the 90s? Like,
Yeah.
it was all Java based. And so it was like HTML practically. So, yeah.
I just need to nip to the bathroom, but I'll be right back.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Oh man.
Don't you gotta go soon?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard from this guy at all, and so, you know, I don't know if he's actually coming over or anything.
Yeah, I probably got a little bit longer.
Okay. Let's see. Should we hop over to Am I Overreacting? I
faked liking sparkling water for 3 years and that's
I know.
hilarious, dude.
I know. I was like, we got to read that one. He says, I'm 30 now, but this started when I was around 27 during a phase where I was really trying hard to be one of those put together adults who meal prep, drink sparkling water, and have plants that aren't just dying slowly in the corner. And I feel like this is a thing with like people my age. All of a sudden people started drinking these like sparkling water drinks, and I get like a superiority complex from them. Like I get like a vibe that they think they're better for drinking
Really?
sparkling water.
Yeah. I don't think that. I hate carbonation, dude. I don't know why anybody would want that shit in their mouth.
Wait, no you don't.
I do.
What?
I severely dislike carbonation.
No way, really?
Yep.
What about beer?
Beer's kind of one thing, but you can pay me enough money to drink pop. I do not drink pop ever.
Wow, that's crazy.
Like I think when I was younger, I drink Mountain Dew every once in a while. But yeah, it's
Man.
Don't drink pop, and I think that's why I got lucky with my teeth.
Yeah, for sure.
Like my brother, like had cavities at the time.
Yeah,
I never drank pop, dude. It was water or like lemonade, which is still bad for your teeth, but
that's so funny. Holly is in the chat.
I saw that. What's up, Holly?
Yeah, she says just got done eviscerating her D&D party. Pop by to say hi. I hope you guys had a great night.
I'm glad you wrecked him.
Yeah, it sucks that RJ just stepped out of the room. Oh
yeah.
No.
Well, we'll tell him she said hi.
I got nothing left in the tank tonight. I'm calling it a night soon, but next time I'm there. Oh, okay. That's funny. Yeah, I had invited her to this, but she said that she was doing a D&D campaign. She says he heard me coming. Man, that's so funny. He's like, RJ, come back in the room. You're gonna miss it.
I'm coming.
That's
I heard my name. I'm back.
Holly's here.
Oh,
in
hi,
the chat.
Holly. Hi.
Is
Is this
Nice.
another confession then? What's this confession?
Yeah, so we were just talking about people our age who drink like these sparkling water drinks. And I feel like it gives people a like superiority complex, like, oh, I don't drink any soda, I drink like sparkling water. And Gabe was saying that he hates anything that's carbonated.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm
Or
like,
maybe I should
what?
say like dislike. Like I'll try and avoid carbonation when I can. I don't drink pop. I don't drink sparkling water. Beer is one thing.
Why?
I don't really find that as weird because it hurts my mouth.
What?
That's why. Yep.
You've got some pussy
how
in
does
your
it?
mouth.
Yeah, I do.
how,
But I
how
tell you,
does
it sounds
how does it
stupid.
hurt your mouth?
I just don't like the carbonation, dude. It hurts my tongue.
Oh my
Pussy
god.
mouth. I might
No,
have a pussy
dude.
mouth, but I got great teeth, so you can just fuck
Yeah.
right off.
Right.
That's fair enough.
That's so funny.
I only drink fizzy water.
Yeah.
Like
I don't think water.
I
Fizzy
So
water.
you're one of those.
like bad.
yeah, I'm
bad for
one
your
of them.
teeth for
But
sure,
I have an inferiority complex about it because normal water
Spicy
is
juice.
not
Yeah,
enough. Like,
see, Holly knows. Her kid
Yeah.
knows. It's spicy. It really, truly is.
That's
so
I-
funny.
so
I was
odd.
the same way growing up. I was the same exact way growing up. Spicy water. I didn't like it.
I only drink fizzy water because flat water's not enough like pop, ironically.
Yeah.
That's
So
the problem.
I have inferiority because I'm like a child. I'm like, this is not enough like a fizz cola
Yeah.
to me, so I'm not drinking it. So I just
Right.
get through liters and liters. Where is it? Like, I just drink like look sparkling
Yeah.
water, just 2-liter bottles at a time.
Yeah.
Just
Wow.
I
Yeah,
love it. I love that
that's
metallic
that's
taste
crazy to
of,
me, man.
bubbles.
That's so funny. Well, this guy says, I faked liking sparkling water for 3 years and now I'm trapped. He says, I'm 30 now, but this started when I was around 27 during a phase where I was trying really hard to be one of those put together adults who meal prep, drink sparkling water, and have plants that aren't just dying slowly in the corner. So I bought a pack of 12-pack LaCroix because, you know, that's what the cool, healthy people were drinking. First sip, it tasted like
Yeah.
someone whispered the word fruit into a cup of TV static. Oh, that's such a good way to describe it. Absolutely disgusting, but I had already posted it on my Instagram story with the caption, "New addiction, LOL." And that was the beginning of my downfall. Friends started bringing LaCroix over when they visited. Coworkers stocked it in the office fridge because I liked it. My girlfriend, now fiance, thought it was cute how into sparkling water I was, so she bought me a Soda Stream for Christmas.
I love
Now
Soda Stream.
He calls it spicy sadness. Thank you.
now I'm in too deep. I've become the guy who nods thoughtfully while drinking what is essentially spicy sadness. I have flavors in my fridge with names like Pamplemousse and Limoncello, and I pretend like I can tell the difference. I can't. It all tastes like carbonated regret. Sometimes I just want a normal drink, but if I ever open a Gatorade, someone will say, "Whoa, no LaCroix today?" And I'll just fake laugh like, haha, gotta switch it up. Meanwhile, my soul is quietly screaming. Anyway, if you're young and reading this, never lie about your beverages. That stuff will haunt you. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Oh my god, that's so funny.
I've never heard of LaCroix, but if it's
Really?
got flavors like limoncello and pamplemousse, whatever that is, that
LaCroix
does
Yeah.
sound particularly poncy.
Yeah, LaCroix is like very much like they have like a grapefruit LaCroix that tastes. It's just sparkling water with like the slightest touch
Yeah.
of grapefruit or like the slightest touch of lime. It's basically just
Right.
sparkling water that leaves like an aftertaste of whatever said flavors on the can.
Right.
You don't have cordial over there, do you?
Mm-mm.
Like
Cordial?
squash.
Nope.
Yeah. Like it's really like basic bitch stuff here. Like everyone has cordial or squash here. It's like highly concentrated fruit juice. It's not fruit juice, but it's a highly concentrated
Do you
liquid,
have to
right?
mix it with water or mix it with something?
Yeah, that you mix with water.
Oh, so it's like
yeah,
Mio.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we do have that. It's called like Mio or just like
Okay.
concentrated juice drink where you like squirt some into the water
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we
Okay,
don't
yeah.
squirt it. We just have it in a bottle and we put a little bit in. You put the water in, and
Yeah.
like
Okay.
I don't drink like flavored fizzy water. I think that is a rip off. I just put a little bit of cordial, a little bit squash, orange squash, orange and pineapple, maybe black currant squash, black currant and apple squash, and then you put the fizzy water in, and it's like just having a kind of much healthier version of pop.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's so funny.
That makes
that's
sense.
as fancy as I go with my fizzy water.
Yeah.
That's great. The comments here are funny. Tell everyone you're going carbonation free, easy solution. People's tastes change over time. You could also pretend they changed something in the formula and it's no longer pleasing to your taste buds. This guy says, or pretend you had the virus that shall not be named and now it tastes different. This
Good
is
call.
the correct answer. Will work every time. Gets me out of eating a lot of different things too. This guy says, you used to love eating ass. What changed? I'm sorry, Grandma. I got. I don't know if I should upvote or downvote this. Wow. These
That
got.
reminds me of a comment I saw on Facebook, I think today, where someone said, I once went out with a girl who had the same name as my mum.
Oh.
So when I was having sex with her, she told me
No.
I couldn't say her name anymore because it reminded her too much of my girlfriend.
Oh no, that's so sad. That's so sad. I don't think I've ever met a girl that I wanted to date who had the same name as my mom.
Me neither.
I feel like my mom's name was very much like a product of its time. Like her name is Chrissy, and I don't see that many Chrissies anymore. But with some of the more common names, I'm sure that's happened a bunch of times.
I'll be honest, I feel like that joke might have gone over your head.
Wait, mine? What?
My joke.
Wait,
Or the
did I
joke
miss
I
it?
saw on Facebook.
Well,
Yeah.
say it again.
The guy said he went out with a girl who had the same name as his mum. And so when he was having sex with her, he wasn't allowed to, she told him not to call out her name anymore because it reminded her too much of his girlfriend.
Oh, I missed that last part. That's so funny.
Oh, geez, that's kind of embarrassing, but that's a great joke.
That is a great joke. I totally missed the ending there.
I'm
That's
glad
funny.
I'm glad you said something.
Yeah, me too.
I was like, I could let it go, but that is too.
No,
good.
I'm glad you
I
didn't.
saw it on Facebook.
Yeah, I'm
That's
glad
so
you didn't let
great.
that go.
That's so
I'm glad
great.
you didn't let that go.
Okay. We're gonna check a video of us during intimacy.
You
and didn't
sounded
tell
very
me
Valley Girl then.
Did I?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Oh my
Sexy
god.
baby voice.
Oh
Oh my god. Vocal fry. Oh my god.
I love doing vocal fry, to be fair.
Okay, so a lot of these
That's
are
primarily
dumb. Am I overreacting over a church giving children nails? No. Overreacting slightly over
Nails.
like
Oh, like as in
the
nail
cross.
and put them through your
Yeah.
stigmata nails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was like fake nails for a second.
I know, that's what I thought too.
Because I'd be like,
Boyfriends.
no, in churches, maybe.
Oh, here we go.
Maybe you should be worried.
Here's a good one. This is involving tattoos. Am I overreacting for not wanting my eyes permanently on my boyfriend's arm? Me and my boyfriend have been together for 3 years and we are both 19. Oh, Jesus, don't get a tattoo of each other. Oh my God.
No,
That's
not with
so
a
bad.
19-year-old.
Yeah. He
Apartment.
he seriously wants my eyes tattooed on his arm and he has been raving about it for almost a year. I feel mean for saying no and that I'm overreacting, but am I? I'm so stuck in between just letting him or sticking to plain no. I'm also tempted to say yes because not bragging, but my eyes are definitely one of my favorite features since my ethnicity is kind of rare and I want to see it tattooed, but this is more a commitment thing for our relationship in my opinion. In the text here, it says, "Babe, quickly, the tattoo artist got back to me and said he would be open to do it mid-May." And then she says, "Dude, no, quit bringing this up. What pictures did you even send him? You never asked me for any." He took a picture of her eyes, and she says,
they're pretty amazing.
Yeah, they are really great.
They're pretty incredible eyes.
Yeah. And she says, "Did you get that off my Instagram? How did it even come out so clear if you zoomed in?" He says, "I don't know." And yeah, she says, "What if we break up and you have my eyes staring into your soul?" He just sends a laughing face. "No, but seriously, this isn't something that you should be getting when we are this young." Wow, so she sounds smart.
Yeah.
If we
She's
were
like-
married, she's like, if we were married, okay, but not at this age and stage. It's kind of a big step. I know we've been with each other a good while, but you know what I'm getting at? He says, "You're being way too dramatic about this. Loosen up, Darl."
Her name must be
okay.
Darla.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's a weird.
Well, or maybe
these
saying
young
darling.
kids.
Saying it in a very
Or
ironic
darling,
way.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
probably what it is. Actually, you're right.
It's a way for me to show my appreciation to you, but like, why would you want to? Okay.
It's
Yeah.
an interesting. They're incredible.
Yeah, they
although
are.
she's
Yeah,
a bit
they're
cross-eyed
very
there,
nice.
isn't she?
What's that?
Is she slightly cross-eyed though?
That's what I'm
Or is
wondering.
maybe-
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit. Her eyes are
They're
definitely.
gigantic. If that's the side of her
Yeah.
head, maybe
Yeah,
that's just makeup
right?
there. They're amazing though. Like not even.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that in a like pervy.
Sure.
No,
way.
yeah.
They're like aesthetically, they're incredible. They're like
Right.
cartoon eyes.
Right.
But there's an interesting intersection there between his body, his choice, and but then my eyes. Like
Yeah.
they're a thing of mine.
Yeah.
Bye, Holly.
See you later, Holly. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting when it's somebody, and then you think of like celebrities and they get no choice who they get tattooed on. Like so
Yeah.
many people have like, you know,
Yeah.
Daniel Radcliffe's face plastered on their arm or
Not only that,
something.
the tattoo's weird, but the also other weird part about this was like getting that picture without permission and like
Yeah.
sending it around. I feel like is kind of weird, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Like it'd be different. Like, hey, babe, do you care if I take a picture of your eyes so I can like bring it to this artist to see what
Right.
he can do? That kind of thing. But he like went on, Facebook and took a picture and spent time editing it and shrinking it down and then sending it to
Right.
this random dude. Like, oh, my girlfriend doesn't know yet, but I'm gonna get her eyes tattooed on my arm or something.
Yeah. And it sounds like, I mean, it sounds like
No,
she's
it's
not
not
that committed
overreacting.
to the relationship either. Like, it
Yeah.
sounds like they've been dating for 3 years and she hasn't made any sort of commitment. It's like, why would you want to get somebody's like part of their body plastered on your body when there's
Yeah.
been no like serious commitment? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I don't think she's overreacting at all.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Like, I think, and I don't think, like, I think that she is literally not overreacting. Like, in what she said to him, like,
Yeah.
this all sounds pretty calm. She's kind of like, I don't know, maybe. And she's like being realistic about it. I don't think she's like overreacting in the slightest.
I mean, to be honest, the fact that he said, "What if we break up?" is a little bit like maybe there's some warning signs that you need to pick up on there, brother.
Right, yeah, maybe, maybe she's not as
What if I
committed
dump
as
your ass in 4 weeks for your best friend?
Right, yeah. Like, yeah, there's something to look into there. The comments say low key understandable. My initials are on my boyfriend's hand, and I absolutely love him for that, and I love the tat. However, I'd feel super bad if anything happened between us, because then that's stuck on him forever, unless, laser removal or cover up. Cover-ups are decently tolerable, at least. I have a fucking huge one on my left upper arm. Covers up scars, so it was kind of painful even for a tattoo, but I was getting stared at either way. A cover-up can potentially turn into something old and maybe painful into something beautiful again. At least there's that. RJ, you were getting your arm lasered, right? Are you still doing that?
I was. No, due to financial woes.
Okay,
since, all that shit in my personal life, I'm a single income household now, so I got to prioritize, and unfortunately, I'm halfway through my lasering.
Yeah.
So when things,
even out a bit,
even out a bit, and I'm a bit more settled, and I've got my new house, then I can get back to, getting my arm lasered. It's in the process. It's just on pause at the moment.
Right. Yeah, I was telling Gabe earlier that, or maybe it was last night or something, that I had a tattoo all set to go at the end of May, and I was gonna fly out to Seattle to go get it done. And now that everything's happened, I'm like, I don't know if I can like do that anymore.
Yeah,
because it was like a $1,200 tattoo.
Yeah, totally. But it's good. I'm not saying "ooh, look at you" or "oh, I've got it much worse." That's not my intent by saying this.
No,
but
you're fine.
It could be the other way around, where you're stuck with something you're trying to get rid of. At least you're not like you're just doing without something that you haven't ever had anyway, and you've just got to wait a bit longer.
Sure. Yeah,
that's what I told them. That's what I told them. I was like, listen, just instead reschedule it for like 2 or 3 months out, and then you got more time to kind of prepare for it.
Yeah.
And then you can still go do that thing,
Once you're like, designing all of these people's houses, you'll be covered in, tattoos with all the money you're making.
I know, I'm like, that should just be my tattoo fund when I do these side jobs. Yeah, all these people are like, they know people whose partner cheated on them and they got it like changed into something else.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I would never get like a real person.
Nope. Yeah, I was
apart from my dead friend. I would never get like a real person, especially not a celebrity, because there's always like the pedo worry.
Yeah, sure.
Like, what if they turn out to be pedos? Because like I knew someone who still does. I don't know if he still have it or if he's covered it up, but do you ever hear of the band Lost Prophets?
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and do you know about the lead singer?
Yeah.
So he's got a Lost Prophets tattoo.
Oh no!
Was the lead singer turn out to be a sexual predator?
Yep.
In the most extreme way. Yes, like an extremely, really, very. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So yes, and their lyrics. So they're written by
Yeah, by
a
him.
pedo, a horrendous pedo. So,
Jeez.
yes, I would not want that to happen to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's do a couple more before we wrap up here. We got neighbor tried to get, this is confessions. My neighbor tried to get my mom fined over our shed, so I got his $40,000 pool filled in. I live with my mom. She's quiet and keeps to herself, never bothers anyone. A few months ago, our new neighbor decided to report her to the city for having an illegal shed in the backyard, which is bullshit. It was total BS. The shed's been there for years and has full permits, which you don't even need for a shed, depending on how big it is, I guess, but you don't need a permit for a shed. An inspector came out, checked everything, and left without saying a word, but the neighbor, smug, proud, thought he'd scared us, so I did a little digging. Turns out his brand new pool was way too close to the property line and illegally built over a utility easement. I reported
Amazing.
him, attached photos, and quoted city codes. 2 weeks later, the city ordered him to either move it, which is impossible, or fill it in. He lost the whole thing, $40,000 down the drain, literally. Now he gets to look at our completely legal shed every day while standing over a pile of dirt where his pool used to be. My mom sleeps great now.
Good. That's great.
That's fantastic. This guy says put a kiddie pool next to the shed.
Yeah,
Oh
that'd
my
be amazing.
God. That's great. That's great.
Yeah, I'm up. I'm up for that mum defense.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Can't knock defense of the mum.
Okay, let's see. Mean Girl's gift disappears into thin air last day of school. I once mistook dry shampoo for spray deodorant. It was a rough morning. What does that mean? I held on too long.
They basically just got like links and sprayed it in their hair, right?
Yeah, let's see. I mistook dry shampoo for spray deodorant. It was a rough morning. I was running late, half awake, and trying to get out the door in 5 minutes or less. I grabbed what I thought was my deodorant, gave each armpit a generous spray, and immediately thought, smells kind of like coconut and shame. A few minutes later, my underarms felt like I had powdered donuts taped to them. I looked down and realized I had turned my pits into chalky snowdrifts. I guess I don't know what dry shampoo is.
It's a spray-on shampoo.
And
It's
you
like
do without water and
Dry
without water. It's like hair
Yeah.
spray, and you run it through
Yeah.
your hair. Just leave it like.
Okay. Interesting.
Genius, really. It's great for camping. It's marketed. I don't know if guys could probably use it. I've only ever seen it marketed.
Oh yeah.
Girls, but it's like if you don't have showers, but you need to, if you're camping, but you need to wash your hair, you just put that in. Yeah.
Okay. Had to go the entire day avoiding hugs, high fives, and any motion that involved lifting my arms. At lunch, someone asked why I smelled like a beach in winter. I just said new cologne. Now I double check every spray can like it's a bomb. So what would it do to your arm? Like, can you not just like wash it off or?
No, you could wash it off. Yeah, he probably didn't know until after.
Yeah.
He was in a spot, but it's just, it would make like his. Yeah, it would make the hair rigid, and it would stick a lot more, and it would do some stuff, especially concentrate it into one area. You're meant to just spray it over and then comb it through, right? And then it evens it out.
Yeah.
But he just sprayed it on probably a bunch because he thought it was deodorant.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Saying he smells like a beach in winter is so oddly specific.
I know, it's so oddly specific.
It is.
Yeah. We got JCM Byrne in the chat, an author here.
Hi.
I just hope I can keep my dark character a secret until some fans get tattoos with my name so I can surprise them. That's so funny. That reminds me of like Patrick Rothfuss was saying you know, if you're not familiar with King Killer, there's a major part of the series that people craft all sorts of theories about and stuff is the 4-plate door. And it's this door that nobody knows anything about. It's in the middle of the university. People look at it every day, but no one's ever been able to open it. And there's this thing that goes across the top. It's like faux Latin, and I forget what it says. But it's in like, it's not like a real language. It's like an in-universe language, and
Right.
And people were getting tattoos with that like phrase that's above the door. And he was on a live stream, and he's like, man, I don't think people should be getting tattoos of this. And he's like, you guys don't know what it means yet. Like, for all you know, like, it means something like awful, or like it's like the bad guys like Creed or something. Like, you don't know like what this means. And he was like serious. He's like, I really would not recommend like getting that tattooed on yourself. Like, pick something else from the series that you like, but he's like, I wouldn't get that tattooed. And it was like, oh, okay. And that made all the theory crafters go wild. Like, what does it mean? But yeah, it was like, yeah, maybe don't get something tattooed until the series is like finished, you know?
So is it not been revealed what it is yet?
No, I mean, it's been like 14 years since the last book.
Yeah,
so I
it
think
probably
everybody's...
won't ever get reviewed. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not gonna happen.
Why not?
Oh,
That's
it's a
the
long
big
story.
question.
Yeah.
That's the big question every fan has about that series.
Yeah, he's been taking his time and just won't release anything.
Is it a really successful series then?
Oh yeah, it's like up there with Game of Thrones and stuff like that.
Okay. So is it a matter of that he doesn't need to make money?
I think that's part of it. I think what he does is when he runs out of money, he starts going on Twitch and doing live streams, and people like donate to him, and he'll get like millions of dollars in a live stream. And so
You shitting me?
yeah, no, and so like when he every now and then he'll like pop up and he'll do a live stream like answering questions and stuff, and he'll get so many donations that it'll keep him going for the next couple of years, and then he'll run out of money and then pop in again. And you know, and I think that he's just like really lazy about doing the last book. Like, he just I don't know, he spends all his time like playing video games. Yeah, JCM even says like that series will never be finished. And it's really sad because it's like one of my favorite series of all time.
Yeah. I mean, I can see how he might fall out of love with it, to be fair. Like, if you're like, if there's this massive weight of expectation on you, like, not only are you just like, you know, the way to make someone never do a thing is to put loads of expectation on them doing it and demand they do it over and over again. But also, like, it's like, it can't be shit. Like, it has to be amazing. And the longer he leaves it, the more amazing it needs to be. And so it probably can never live up to what it needs to be in people's heads. So you know,
it's a self-fulfilling prophecy for sure. Like, it's a terrible cycle.
If he'll just get loads of shit for it now.
Right.
Which is unfair, but I could understand why he's like, I can't do it, because it's just people are gonna hate it no matter what.
Yeah, I think he just needs to put out whatever he has written already and just like let it be. JCM says, that's why I make sure none of my books are too good, so that the expectations are never too high.
Didn't he do like a Kickstarter to write a chapter or something?
Rothfuss, yeah. He made a donation thing. He's like, you guys will get the first chapter of the third book if you donate a certain amount of money. and people donated like millions and millions and millions of dollars, and
Fucking hell.
we've
Yeah.
never seen the chapter from it. We've never seen the chapter.
Under what platform did he do it on?
I think it was just through Twitch. He had like a GoFundMe or
Oh.
something.
Right.
And yeah,
Sure,
it wasn't like
on a-
it wasn't Kickstarter.
Right. I was going to say, like, there's probably some rules on things like Kickstarter where it's like, no, you have to deliver.
Yeah. Well, we got to wrap up, but I'm really curious as to what this is real quick. So this is in Confessions. Mean Girl's gift disappears into thin air the last day of school. When I was in high school, there was this girl spreading lies and talking bad to this boy that liked me and that she liked. They spent all their time together until the last day of school. He was supposed to switch schools, so it was the last time we were both going to see him. She was bragging about this handmade gift that she made for him. Chocolate cigarettes with handmade packing. What the heck? Do girls go this far out of their way for stuff like this?
Oh yeah, especially.
I wish they would with me. Jesus.
I know, yeah. Come on. Actually, pretty impressive. I took the gift during recess, hid it somewhere outside so that she could never find it. Her desperation when she tried to find it and it was not there was priceless. I took the chocolates at the end of the day and threw them away. Do not shit talk me because you are insecure.
Are we sure that everybody else is insecure?
Yeah, I'm like, I think I know this isn't Am I the Asshole, but I think you are absolutely the asshole.
That's funny. That first one's hilarious. I can't believe you threw the chocolate away. That would have made for a great post-revenge snack.
Yeah. Or like,
Yeah.
it would have been funny
recess
if...
in high school.
Yeah.
That's funny. Elementary school, dude.
You didn't have 15-minute breaks in between lunch? No. What?
Oh, we didn't have recess. We had lunch. Smoke. Oh, that's somebody else though.
Yeah, but this says they had 15-minute breaks besides lunch. I never got 15-minute breaks.
Oh, we did. Yeah, I did. You had
Yeah,
two
we got
15-minute breaks and then a lunch.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Kinda like a job.
Yeah, I don't know why she didn't just take the chocolates and give it to the guy instead that she liked.
That would have been freaking.
That's too obvious. The other girl will see it, won't she?
Yeah.
Well, this also belongs in our petty revenge. Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny. All right, guys. Well, that was a great live stream. I think, it's good to get a little bit of content out there so that people can have something to watch in between, me taking forever to edit stuff. JCM says, as far as Rothfuss, he's an incredible perfectionist, and I think he's stuck feeling like he can't possibly meet the expectations. Yeah, and that's the thing. If you read his other books, they are almost like objectively perfect. Like they're almost like it's really, really hard to find something to criticize about them because they're just so well written with so much care and so much like time put into them. Like every single detail connects to another detail, and there's foreshadowing throughout the entire thing, and there's all these like hidden things that you can pick up on. And I think that maybe he didn't have like a great idea for the ending, and now he thinks that it's going to be worse than what people are expecting. I could see that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But we are going to wrap it up there. RJ, thank you so much for hanging out with us and staying up late with us.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for asking. I'd love to do it again sometime if you'll have me back.
Yeah.
Yes,
Definitely.
yeah, let's have you on
Absolutely.
for something soon. Do
Great.
you have anything that you're trying to promote right now or anything like that?
Yes, I'm doing Bailey's Bookshelf, which is my audiobook podcast. So just do a search on any podcast platform for Bailey's Bookshelf.
I may have
Great
allegedly
audiobook.
just just subscribed, followed you to listen to my game.
Thank you.
Allegedly.
I mean, so you can listen to seasons 1 through 3, which are the
Yep.
War of the Worlds,
I saw that,
Dracula, and Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, because they're in public domain everywhere, but you're not
Gotcha.
allowed to listen to season 4, 1984.
Okay,
Or go
understood.
through all of them and then stop as soon as season 4
Understood.
starts.
I will do that. I
Yeah.
will do that.
Yeah. So yeah, if people would love to subscribe and listen to that, that'd be great, because I need 1,000 downloads a month to get it monetized, and
Okay.
I'm just about at 300 now, but it's steady growth. So
Yeah.
yes,
Good.
that'd be great. Thank you for asking me if there's anything to promote. Thank you.
Cool. What are you working on? Anything that you can talk about right now? Any audiobooks that you're narrating that have been gone public?
So I'm working on a book called The Roots of Military Science, which is pretty interesting. Which is it's a non-fiction. It's about it's a scientist who's written a book about basically like the history of military science, and also how soldiers are affected by warfare and stuff like that, physical and psychological trauma and things. It's very interesting. So that's really fun. And I also I write as well. Like, somehow I've managed to become a slightly professional writer. There's a new game coming out, a tabletop war game called Xeogenesis, which is about mechs fighting each other on the tabletop in the far future. And there are a series. If you go on xeogenesis.com, which is the game website, you'll be able to see the models and stuff and the artwork. But I write in-universe travelogues,
Wow.
which is basically
cool.
building and expanding the
Yeah.
lore of the universe. So yeah, I'm up to like 19 little stories now, I think, between 15 and 19 stories. Some more are still to be published. So that's what I'm constantly working on as well. Every so often, new stories come out, and the artists do artwork of my stories that go along with the stories, and it's worth it just for the artist's work. Got some incredible artists working on it. Incredible stuff.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, yeah, guys, feel free to go check that out. I will update the description in the YouTube video to have RJ's links in it and everything. So go
Thank you.
check that out. And congratulations on working with Tantor, man. That is fantastic
Thank you.
news. I'm so excited.
Thank you
for
very much. Thank you. I appreciate your support in that as well. That's because you're a very nice boy.
Of course.
He's a very nice boy.
I'm very nice boy.
He is.
Both of you are. Both of you are. Thank you.
All right, everyone. Well, we are going to wrap it up there today. Be sure to check the description for our links if you want to reach out on Twitter or Discord, or if you want to support us over on Patreon. That is how we mostly are able to pay for like Adobe Premiere, and for even StreamYard. Like StreamYard is really expensive per month. So that definitely helps us out over there. And you get to watch every single episode we do just like this. You get to watch it like a live stream and hop in the chat, just like, JCM was, or Holly, or earlier we had Nova here. So yeah, you get to do the exact same thing for every episode before it gets released to YouTube. So yeah, you'll get early access and all that stuff. So it's definitely worth the $3 to $5 a month or whatever it is over there, and it definitely helps us out every month. So feel free to do that if you like. If not, just watching the videos is always a huge help for us, and liking the videos or subscribing or all that YouTube stuff, it all helps us. And you guys have been a fantastic community, so thank you so much for your support. And yeah, that's all I got for today. So thank you guys. We will see you soon with our dungeon. I have a Dungeon Crawler Carl video coming out that I'm probably going to be recording in the next couple days and then putting that out. And then we'll have a Dungeon Crawler Carl spoiler-filled episode where we talk about the first 2 books. So keep an eye out for those. Those will be out really, really soon. And with all that out of the way, we will see you in the next one, guys. Bye-bye. Happy
Bye.
Easter.
Bye.
Bye. Happy Easter. Bye.